Good evening, everyone. The Clayton County, this afternoon, the Clayton County Board of Commissioners work session is now called to order. The time is 5:30 p.m. and the date is July 14, 2026. Board members, are there any preliminary items from the July 21st, 2026 regular business meeting that you'd like to discuss at this time today?
Not me.
All right, we're moving right along. We'll move on to our agenda items.
I have it. But I didn't see the director here to address it.
Which item would you like to pull, Commissioner Reeves?
Oh, I'm not pulling anything. I just had a
No,
question.
I'm talking about pull to discuss at this time.
Well, this is just the first time I'm getting a chance to look at this, so. So far, I have a question about 15 and 17.
Right. And Director GK is not present. Can you, CO, can you come up for 15? In regards to the moratorium. What were your questions, Commissioner?
So are these look like these are two separate resolutions for extensions of the gas station moratorium, but when I introduced the original moratorium on gas stations, it was gas stations, laundromats, vape shops, but I only see gas stations listed here, or gas stations and convenience stores, but also it's two separate agenda items.
So, Commissioner, I don't know if this is just a typo, that it should be only one. Both are dealing with moratoriums. And I'm trying to recall our discussion in our operational review. But what we can do, because we have an agenda meeting tomorrow at 2 o'clock, what other clarifying questions do we have? We can certainly address that at the work session, if that's appropriate.
Can you repeat that again?
If you want us to address what are the questions you have at the agenda meeting tomorrow, before we put it on the adoption for next Tuesday, we certainly can address those questions at that time.
Sounds good, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions at this time, board members, on any of the preliminary items from the July 21st board meeting? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to our agenda items. Also, I just wanted to make everybody aware that item number 7, board members, the update on the Crisis Behavioral Center is going to be taken off for this meeting, and COO Stanford will direct us on, are you gonna add it back at a later time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Madam Chair, so the reason why that was being pulled, two things that the board asked us to get clarity on as it pertains to potentially partnering with the state. Okay. Is to one, to figure out who we're entering into the agreement with. Is it Viewpoint Health or is it with the state? And more importantly, what is the exact balance that we have on SPLOST now that the county is willing to allocate to that? And more importantly, what is the state to give us a return on investment if we get that $7 million?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. All right, next we will move to item number 1, and that will be for the 5-year strategic plan from Develop Clayton. And so come on up, Mr. Mandela Jones, and let's get ready to hear about this 5-year strategic plan.
Thank you.
All right.
Good afternoon, board. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
First off, I requested this opportunity for a couple of reasons. One, and primarily, I want you to understand Develop Clayton, where we're going, how we're supporting Clayton County from a housing perspective, and how we know we'll be able to advance Clayton County from a housing perspective. I'll start by saying my board is here. At least 3 of the 5 members, three of the 4 members of my board is here, so I want to thank them for their support.
Right. Thank you.
I want you all to know my board has invested quite a bit of time in understanding Clayton County from a housing perspective, understanding where the gaps are and how we can contribute to filling those gaps.
Gotcha.
So I want you all to understand that. I know the name change, Develop Clayton.
Yeah, I
we
was
were
going to say,
formerly,
you got to update the public and
yes,
update.
so let me tell you, we were
Everybody on the new
formerly
name,
the
Develop
Housing
Clayton.
Authority of Clayton County. We decided to change the name to Develop Clayton for a couple
And
of
I
reasons.
love it. I love the new name.
Thank you, thank you. The reception has been great. I like it. We decided to change the name primarily because to cut down on the confusion in the county. So with the Jonesboro Housing Authority and the Housing Authority of Clayton County, folks hear Housing Authority, they automatically assume Section 8, public housing, and those types of things, and that's not what we do. So to cut down on the confusion, Develop Clayton made a lot more sense. It speaks more strategically to who we are and kind of where we're going. Secondly, there is a Develop Fulton and there is a Decide DeKalb, which closely align with how we function and what our mission is. So it made sense to change the name. Third, our developer partners and others, it gives them a better understanding of who we are and what we do. So Develop Clayton is our new name. Yes, ma'am, you had a question?
Yes,
Commissioner Hambrick?
that's a good idea.
Thank you.
Yes.
You're doing, because that is a lot of confusion. People think Section 8,
Yes.
that kind of thing. But now, did you go through that process? Because this was developed, I think, back in the 80s?
So Develop Clayton is a doing business as.
Oh,
It's
so
a doing
still
business.
housing-
It's still officially it's
okay.
still the Housing Authority
Okay,
of Clayton
just wanted to
County.
be
It's
sure.
just a DBA.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So again, Develop Clayton. We love the name. We think it's appropriate for where we are and where we're going. I'm going to introduce in just a second Mr. Jim Brooks, who is our development consultant, and he'll provide just kind of a high-level overview of our new strategic plan, which I know you all are going to find interesting and enjoy. Let me say, just kind of high level, before we get into that, if you don't hear anything else as it relates to Develop Clayton, my board is clear around two things. One, we got to help educate and support our residents around financial literacy, preparing for homeownership, understanding and developing a financial acumen so that if you want to start a business, buy a home, whatever, you can do that. My board is clear, and we're addressing that. Secondly, we understand that we got to diversify the housing stock in Clayton County. We got to build for the talent and the workforce that we want in Clayton County. So that starts with preparing for, thank you. That starts with building the type of housing that first-time home buyers, move-up buyers, and even the affluent segment would be interested in. So that's our focus.
And I totally agree with you on that.
Thank
and I
you.
thank you all for moving in that direction because, like I said, we got a lot of homes from the 1960s, and and our younger people, they want live, work, eat, and play. You
Sure.
know, and so people want something different. And then we got to bring in those restaurants, and we got to bring in
Sure.
those the sales tax dollars that we need to move. So
Definitely.
I love this new concept, and I really thank you all for continuing to work together to move the county forward.
Thank you.
And I like what the chairwoman is saying, but there's a mission for the Housing Authority of Clayton County. So are you all sticking
We're
with
not
the mission?
abandoning our mission. We're not abandoning, we're just expanding it. We're not abandoning it. We're just expanding our mission.
Because I know with this Develop Clayton and all, I can see that being a part, but if I'm recalling correctly, Housing Authority had some other things that they were, other missions, maybe not so much missions, but when it was developed.
So if you're speaking to our programs, we haven't abandoned those programs, if that's what you're speaking to.
Right, that's what I'm speaking.
So yeah, we're still providing 1 month's rent, mortgage, and utility assistance to qualified Clayton County residents to help keep people in their homes. And we're still providing up to a $10,000 grant to support the existing housing stock that's here. Those things are still happening.
Okay.
And my board has allocated even more funding year over year for those two programs.
What about your HUG program?
So when I say HUG, I'm speaking, that's the up to $10,000 grant to support the existing housing stock that's here for repairs, heating and electrical, septic tank, those types of things.
Okay.
A senior who needs ADA type services, all those things are still available.
Great.
And we're constantly looking to expand resources to be able to expand those programs. So we were never going to abandon those things, but we are
'Cause if
more
you do,
focused
then
on
you
the
abandon-
development piece.
You're abandoning your whole authority.
I'm going to take it you like the name,
I
Commissioner
do.
Hammond. Okay. Okay.
I just want you to stay with, the purpose of
Yes.
the Housing Authority and why it was created back in the 80s and all. So, but I do want to see that, and I'm really glad for any name change because it was so much confusion
Agreed.
with that Housing Authority, but officially that's the name, but so I
Yes.
like this.
Yeah, we're evolving. We're evolving.
Just don't forget, what's that saying? Don't forget where you come from.
Yes, ma'am, we won't, we won't. Can I call up Mr. Jim Brooks?
Yes, Mr. Brooks, come on up.
Let me say, as Mr. Jim Brooks comes, one of the phenomenal partner, he's our development consultant, our financial advisor, what I want you all to know about Mr. Brooks is he has done the things that we are looking to accomplish in Clayton
Yes.
County. So partnering with counties and partnering with municipalities and others to strengthen communities through housing and creating mixed-use development in areas where you can live, work, play. He's been successful in doing those things.
Yeah.
Phenomenal resource for us. And so he was instrumental in helping us develop our strategic plan along with my board. So Mr. Brooks,
So you all are pretty much like the development authority then? Is that?
Well, no.
Focused on housing
economic
specifically.
development.
So no, we're not
No.
the same as the.
I know you're not the same,
Okay.
but I'm just saying, seem like your mission is getting closer to that.
Is,
I see some.
is that a question or?
No,
Okay. No,
a
I think she was
statement.
just making a statement.
exactly.
Can you elaborate on that statement? As far, especially because of the name change, I do see some folks in here from the Development Authority, and I know in previous conversations, when we had the collaborative meeting with the Board of Commissioners and the Development Authority, some of the feedback that we heard from the public, was developers not having that entry point into the county, and trying to streamline that, whether they went to community development. At that time, there was the Office of Economic Development or the Development Authority of Clayton County, and then so now we have Develop Clayton. So was there communication with the Development Authority?
There was communication, and we stay in our lane as it relates to housing. Yes, they have bond inducement capability, we do too.
Yes.
But no, our mission is clear, it's not the Development Authority. Maceo and I are developing a great relationship. We know that if he wins, I win, and if I win, he wins.
And the
But
county
we-
wins.
And the
Great.
county wins, exactly, and our citizens win, but we're not doing the same thing at all, and we understand our lanes.
I just wanted you to provide that clarification
Sure,
for the
sure.
folks who are watching and the folks in the audience.
Sure, no problem. Mr. Brooks?
Mr. Brooks, how are you today?
I am well. How are you
And-
today?
and
Thank
you
you
do
all so
come
much
with
for letting
a
me,
wealth of
letting me
knowledge.
be here. Thank you.
Yes, great to see you.
So by way of introduction, my name is Jim Brooks. I'm the president of Boulevard Group. We are a national firm based here in Atlanta, however, that works with cities, housing agencies, different authorities across the United States in helping to create public-private partnerships, do strategic planning, primarily with a focus on housing and particularly affordable housing, both affordable rental and affordable for sale.
We're gonna use the word attainable.
We're gonna say attainable,
There we
Mr.
go.
Brooks, because I don't think it's
I knew you were gonna
$2,000
I
a
spent-
month,
I spent too much
$1,500.
time with HUD.
Affordable housing doesn't exist.
Exactly right. I like attainable very much. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So we, back in the spring, had a number of really productive work sessions with, this plan is really driven by the board.
Correct.
It's really their vision that we help facilitate. We had a number of really focused planning sessions. We looked at a lot of demographic data about Clayton County, not just in the county by itself, but also how it fits within the metro area, how it compares with the other 4 counties in the MSA in terms of income, demographics, housing types, and those sorts of things. And so what we're going to, and the full, by the way, the full strategic plan is going to be published on
Our
the
website.
Develop Clayton
Very soon,
website, so
yes.
we're not going to burden you all with, all 50 pages of that today, but we're going to hit the highlights of sort of the goals and objectives that came out of the plan so that you can understand sort of the focus of what we created. I don't know how this may work, but I assume this will advance a slide. Yes or no? Which button do I press? I have to be trained. Oh, good.
I'm gonna come down there and help you out.
So we had 6 strategic imperatives guiding the plan. First was, and this is really important, and I think particularly for you all to hear this, notice that number 1, alignment of stakeholders across Clayton County. This speaks directly to the questions that you all, we talked a lot about that, is that we want to fit within the framework and work with other key partners in Clayton County because that's how we're effective, right, is leveraging resources. Second, diversification and strengthening funding sources for the agency. So one of the things we recognize is that Develop Clayton itself needs to have more resources in order to be more effective. Third, execution of high-impact housing and development initiatives. And so we were spending a lot of time with the board and the staff thinking about how do we focus in and where are we trying to create housing initiatives and what type of housing are we trying to, and being strategic about it, not taking a shotgun approach, but being very strategic about where those investments happen. This I know you'll be delighted to see. One of the things we think is a key focus, housing development that supports tax-based growth, okay? We can't be successful if we're not creating housing that contributes to the tax base in Clayton County. Housing types that support economic development growth. We think that it's critical to have housing at lots of different income levels and attainability levels, because that diversification gives us economic diversification and strengthens the economics of the county. And then finally, partnerships. We talk about partnerships a lot. Partnerships that support mixed-use live, work, play communities, because that's where the future is. That's where real economic growth is. And if you look across not just the metro area, but across the United States, that's the name of the game, where counties and municipalities are creating vibrant, mixed-use, live, work, play neighborhoods. That's where you're getting, a diverse housing base and a diverse economic base, and that's what we hear the county needs and wants.
And I want to add to that, you all. We also need to be focusing on trail connections, as we work through this, connecting to the Beltline,
Yes.
helping our small businesses and things of that nature. So that's another outlook that we need to look on as we, plan and build things together.
We have a trail plan. When was it last conducted? Yeah, I'm looking at you, CO. 15?
2018.
We have a trail plan.
Yeah. But as I was saying, we meet with Aerotropolis and we talk about connecting with the
Yes.
Beltline. So as we have those meetings every month that connect with our trail plan, I want you all to just, make sure that as we plan out, that we add those trails, continue to add those trails
Sure.
in there.
We'd love to.
Thank
you.
We'd love to coordinate with that. That's great.
And as you know, Madam Chair, we have a great relationship with the Beltline,
Yeah,
and with the
with
folks. And
Beltline,
so
yeah.
they've been
We all
extremely
went to,
helpful.
we had an awesome time on the
Yes,
Beltline.
thank you for
Yeah, and
attending.
that's a trip we probably need to go on as a board too as well.
I would agree.
That'd be great. The board did adopt a vision and mission statement. I'll read it briefly because it is so central to what we're talking about. The vision statement is taking the lead in creating a pathway to home ownership, community development, and housing that people can afford. I think that's a great vision statement for this organization. And the mission statement is definitely the tandem, and that is the premier partner and gateway for the development of quality and sustainable housing solutions for the citizens of Clayton County. I think those words are important too. Quality and sustainability is critical, right? So I'm going to skip past this and talk about some of just hit the key goals and objectives. So goal one, again, this is a 5-year plan, so we're talking about, fairly long-term here, but again, we've got to start somewhere. Goal one is to build a diversified and sustainable financial model for the organization, which includes developing new revenue streams, increasing participation in different development deals, acquiring strategic land and assets, and those sorts of things. So we're trying to improve the economics of Develop Clayton itself so that it has more resources to invest in the county. 2 is to expand the agency's development portfolio. We are before Mandala took over leadership of the organization, to a great extent, it was reacting to deals that might be brought to it by developers. We're turning that in the other direction. We're saying these are the type of deals that we want to see that will sustain the vision we're talking about and the kind of housing and economic development we want to see. We've established some parameters for that, and instead of just reacting to things that people are bringing to the agency, we're actually being proactive about talking with potential development partners about does it fit and is it what the county needs and wants, not just is it what the developer needs and wants, right? So that means developing a long-term investment strategy and testing every deal that comes to us against those parameters. Third key goal is about land. Land ownership and development control. One of the things that we're trying to do is be strategic about how we increase the agency's influence over development outcomes. And that means land acquisition strategies. What is happening with vacant land in the county? Are we helping to direct that in a way where it's not simply a developer buys a piece of land and develops what they're going to develop, but are we being strategic about acquisitions, partnerships, again, with other county agencies, about smart land use planning and smart growth around vacant parcels in the county, and how we can partner to acquire land through partnerships, formalize a vacant land review process. We're working very closely with the land bank, for example,
I was just gonna
on
say that.
identifying vacant parcels with them for both multifamily development and single-family development, and that's going very, very well. That's a great partnership, and we're already getting lots from them to create more attainable.
I love the collaboration.
Yeah, and
Speaking-
it's a great resource, and they
Yeah.
have those, they need to do something with those lots, and so we're the perfect partner for them.
Speaking of that, I'm trying to think on.
The Yorktown
Godby Road.
opportunity?
Yes,
So there's still, the land bank is still, there's a second kind of round of interviews that we'll be a part of. So they haven't made a final decision yet, but they're close.
you may want to mention that. I don't know if you all want to mention it or keep it quiet or what.
I'll wait and
So
speak
the
to it
public
once,
would
yeah,
know,
once, once if
Okay.
we're
But
awarded.
it's
I'll
still
speak
in the
to it.
works?
Yes, ma'am,
Okay.
it's still very much in play.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And so yes, we are actively and proactively talking with strategic partners in the area and looking at vacant land and thinking about how do we leverage those resources so they make sense for the county. And it's not just speculative development, which you've seen more than enough of, I will say.
Let me also say, we work very closely with Mr. Ejike and the county
Absolutely.
in understanding zoning and where we want to go and planning. I'll say we have what I think is a very good relationship, and we talk often so that as we move and align, we understand and we're moving in alignment with where the county is going from a zoning and planning
Yeah,
perspective.
we actually had some fairly extensive interviews with him as part of our planning. I'm a city planner by training. In
Yeah,
fact,
I
was-
know.
You know, I was the senior planner for the city of
City of
Atlanta for
Atlanta,
years.
yep.
And then I helped manage all of the housing development during the Olympics. And before I went into private practice. But yeah, he's a great resource, and we've been talking a lot with him to make sure we understand where the county is headed in that regard. Fourth, strategic partnerships, and we talked about this, strengthening collaboration across stakeholders. And we're already in the process of, we're having meetings with key county leadership and county organizations. We're working with the land bank. We're talking with the mayors and the
We are.
municipalities in the county as well. And also looking at leveraging regional and state partnerships, Georgia DCA. I mean, there are resources out there that we should be looking at everything that we can bring to the county, because there are regional and state resources that we can also leverage if we're being smart about how we're approaching this. The fifth goal is really internal. It's building the capacity of Develop Clayton as an organization, getting a greater depth of staff, identifying a larger, more central office space.
Definitely.
For the organization, using third-party expertise and technology for things. So we recognize that if we're going to grow and have a larger influence in what we're doing, we've got to build the internal capacity of the agency to be able to do that work.
And I know you mentioned about the mayors as well. I just want to throw the nugget that the mayors are working on their master plans for each of their municipalities. So as they work on those master plans, you guys can, y'all can collaborate together and look at places where you can build there as well. Did you want to say something? Oh, go.
So yeah, Mayor Llewellyn has been great as it relates. I
Yeah.
know she's kind of leading that for us. She's been great in sharing that with me and identifying ways we can partner. So looking forward to that with the
Okay.
remaining cities, for absolute sure.
So those were the basic goals. This next section, and this will be sort of the final summary of this, is a 5-year plan, so I want to give you the highlights of what we're hoping to accomplish in each year of the plan, okay? So year 1, we're calling foundation and alignment. So we're trying to finalize these partnerships and alignment with different partners, initiate creating more diversification in terms of funding and the economic capacity of the agency, and begin building the capacity of the agency in terms of staffing. That's in this sort of baseline year. We're trying to build a good foundation. If we don't build a good foundation, we can't do the other work that we want to. Year 2 is really about launching these different potential development projects, expanding home ownership programs, especially for first-time home buyers and for, again, I love the term attainable housing because that's a real focus for the agency. And also increasing revenue-generating activities for the agency because that will give the agency more funding to invest and partner and create other opportunities. That's years 2 and 3. And then 4 and 5, as we get further through, then we're talking about really having a more diverse portfolio of properties that the agency is working on, strengthening the long-term financial position of the agency itself. And then we will always have a feedback loop of continuing to evaluate and refine our different strategies as we go along. I'm very pleased that the agency has engaged us, not just for this planning work, but we are the strategic consultant for the agency going forward. We're delighted with that, and we're really enjoying working with the board and with Mr. Jones and his staff. One of the things that I've continued to say from my perspective, and again, having done this work all over the United States, but having lived in Atlanta for 50 years, I came here to go to college and stayed. Clayton County is already doing a lot of really great things and a lot of right things. But there are tremendous opportunities here that many of the other metro counties really don't have. That if we're really smart about how we leverage resources, how we partner,
How we build.
right,
Mhm.
and how we build, and really focus on sound strategies for those sorts of things, I think the county is really standing on the verge of just a renaissance of growth that I'm delighted to even have a small part of. This is what I do for a living, and so I like to think I'm smart about being in the right place at the right time, and this is the right place at the right time for Clayton County. I really truly believe that based on my professional expertise. So,
We thank you
so
for
we're
that,
delighted
yeah.
to be working with the agency and appreciate all of your time today and your support and partnership. We can't do it without all of us working together. So thank you for that.
Well, I'm
Ricky, can
very
we get
much
a short
delighted in
bio?
the way that you all are going as well.
Can we get a short bio?
Bio.
My
I mean,
bio? Sure.
What's your name?
My name. It's all right. I'm glad they ask at the end, not at the beginning.
Yes, I
right?
thought I said it.
My name is James Brooks.
James Brooks.
My company is called Boulevard Group.
Right,
You
I
can look
heard
up our
that.
website. So if you look up Boulevard Group, it's all spelled out, boulevardgroup.com. You'll see all about our firm, and there's a bio for me.
So is it
Well, you
named
wanna
after
tell the
Boulevard
public?
downtown?
Well,
Our
being-
folk want to know.
okay, there you go.
I'll make sure you all receive.
Okay.
No,
Yes.
I mean the public. We have
Yeah,
public
we'll get
here,
it
and we
to
have
you.
people listening.
It's a city planner inside joke. Hierarchy of streets from a planning standpoint goes from an alley is the sort of lowest
Lowest,
form and
okay.
goes avenue streets.
Gotcha.
But the highest form of street is a boulevard.
Yeah,
And so that's why we were called Boulevard.
Boulevard. Love it. Love it.
You say you came here for school, so give me a little.
So I went to Georgia State. I went to the School of Government at Georgia State.
Andrew Young School of Policy Studies?
It wasn't called back when I was there.
I wasn't going to say that part.
When I used to ride my horse to school, and yes, it was before it was. So I worked in Maynard Jackson's
Maynard.
administration. I worked in
Andrew
Mayor Young's
Young.
administration in the planning department, and then helped manage the housing development during the Olympics. I was the deputy executive director of the Atlanta Housing Authority. We did East Lake and Techwood and all of that. I was Renee Glover's deputy.
Yes.
And so, and then went into private practice doing work around the United States. So I've been here for a while.
Can
Are
you
there
just-
any other questions?
Can you just
Commissioner
bring
Reeves?
us East Lake? I mean, the walkability of that area. I mean, of course, there's the
It's
golf
amazing.
course, but the mom and pop coffee shops. But you also have that mix where
And
you
the
have the commercial
schools
space,
and
the
YMCA.
retail.
It's an amazing, well, and that is the ideal, and not, there are lots of developments like that. I mean, East Lake's a great model, but that's the kind of smart growth that we need to have. Is not just about housing. It's about housing at lots of different levels. It's about schools. It's about walkability. It's about business opportunities, large and small, right? And creating happy, comfortable neighborhoods. We always talk about neighborhoods that people are happy and excited to raise children in, right?
Can you all talk a little bit more about your strategy for multifamily housing? Mandela knows that I am one who is always talking about multifamily housing and making sure that folks know that you can have for purchase multifamily housing.
that's right.
And when you have that density, then you can attract that commercial space. And so can you talk a little bit about that multifamily strategy, adding that density to Clayton County?
Yes.
You want to speak?
We can't really talk about York County. I
No,
guess,
I don't want to speak to that.
I don't want to. We think that's at the forefront.
All
One
right.
of the things we're looking at right now is potential sites to do attainable for sale
Okay.
in a type of product that we don't see a lot of in Clayton County. In other words, almost all the for sale housing in Clayton County tends to be single-family detached.
Or single-family attached. We see a lot of townhouses, and we have
Right.
folks who
And
have
so,
comments.
you know, in smart growth these days, we're thinking about, you know, smaller's better, not work. In other words, you can go up, you can do smaller square footages, you can be more efficient in terms of unit layouts and creating master plan communities that are not just housing, but also have retail, you know, the coffee shop, the neighborhood coffee shop, the green space, you know, connections to bike trails and those sorts of things. You know, these are the kinds of things we need to think about as we think about these communities. I think there's been much too much, again, because of exclusionary zoning, and I know you all are working with changing your zoning. Housing has to be integrated into the community. It shouldn't be separated from the community, right?
Yes.
So Commissioners, I think about it this way. When I look at Trilith, when I look at the Battery, when I look at Atlantic Station, we need those types of environments in Clayton. And my board is crystal clear so that we can keep our tax dollars here in Clayton and folks can come live, eat, work, play, socialize, whatever they want to do. So we're focused on that.
Wonderful. So thank you for that follow-up question, because we also, there was a brief conversation about missing middle housing.
Yes.
And kind of like infill development, and I'm just curious to see if you all have any plans to build specifically multifamily housing, especially when you're identifying, you know, county-owned property that might be, you know, scattered throughout other areas, even if it's in areas that are single-family zoning. Are there any plans for the Housing Authority to build, let's say, like cottage courts? Sorry, I'm trying to find a way to explain cottage courts, similar to what you have on the design here, but other versions, duplexes, quadplexes, any of those plans. I like a Trilith and Atlantic Station and East Lake
sure.
are great examples of like large developments, but I'm just curious if there are any plans for kind of those
So
like
not
smaller
currently,
scales.
But those are niche products that we have our mind on, and when the right opportunity presents itself, we'll definitely take a look at that for absolute certainty.
And we did, and that actually was a conversation I had with your zoning director.
Okay, great.
Because I know that's part of what's being contemplated in some of the zoning. You know, missing middle housing is also critical, and but you have to have zoning code that supports that, that allows those
We don't
different
have that
types of
right
housing,
now.
that lets you get to that kind of density is a good thing, not a bad thing, right?
Right.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you, and
I do have
state,
one question.
you got a question too? Okay.
Yes, sir.
As far as your year one on your foundation alignment, where are you all in that process, and have you begun to identify your partners as well as put in place your governance alliance?
So we have, and I'll say, I'm sure you all have heard of the Clayton County Housing Task Force, which really stems from my board and their leadership. But the Clayton County Housing Task Force is really leading Clayton County as it relates to all things housing and really economic development. So the Housing Task Force gives us an opportunity to meet strategically with the partners, the real players in Clayton County, to ensure we're on the same page and that we're all working together for the benefit of Clayton County.
Okay, and just last question, how often will we get an update on this 5-year plan, just from a work session standpoint?
So tell me, Commissioner, what would be, in your opinion, what would be appropriate? Is that twice a year? You tell me, what would be appropriate?
I mean, my whole thing would be at least twice a year.
Okay. I definitely want to, if you all will have me, I definitely want to come back. We have some really exciting things that we're really close to kind of finalizing that I want to tell you about from a development perspective. But twice a year is definitely, it's not a problem. We would look forward to it.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, and Mr. Brooks, thank you for coming out. I definitely know that your expertise are going to be great for our county. I know the administrations that you've worked with and the building that you've done as far as, you know, moving, you know, with walkability, building, live, work, eat, and plays. things of that nature. So thank you for bringing your expertise to Clayton County, and I look forward, and we all look forward to working with you and our citizens.
Well, thank you. I'm delighted to be here. I'm really looking forward to doing the work.
All right, thank you.
Thank
I hope
And thank you,
I hope
Ms.
you're excited about partnering.
Oh, I'm
with me,
excited. I
Okay,
am. You know I am. You know I am. Look,
I'm only kidding.
When you bring in the big guns, I'm ready to rock and roll. So let's do it. It's time. And thank you for the board members also that are here tonight.
Yes, thank
could
you.
you all stand and be recognized as well? You guys didn't stand. Thank you all for coming out. We appreciate. We appreciate the. What's y'all new name again? The what
Develop
now?
Clayton.
The Develop Clayton. We appreciate the Develop Clayton board. You guys are. You are moving and shaking, and you know you all are setting the example. So you set the bar high and keep moving things forward. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner.
All right, next on our agenda is Marta, a Marta update. And Mr. Holder, you here? All right, you said you were coming back, so come on up. He was like, you want me back. You see. I pulled this whole back.
All right, well, good evening, board members, and thanks again for having us here. Tonight, I'm joined with my director, AJ's here tonight, and we also have our external affairs team back here, and also the design and communications consultant group here as well. So just have a few folks here with us tonight. But yeah, we're thankful, first of all, for having this opportunity to talk again about the Clayton County, of course, the MARTA Rapid South Lake project, and of course, just answer any questions that you may have for that. So I'll go ahead and we've got a small presentation that we're just going to run through again, and then we'll just take it from there. Okay. Okay, with the slide advancement. That one. Okay, good. All right, so just to talk about the project, again, in general. Oh, wait, let's see. Okay. So, anyway, just wanted to talk about the alignment of the project. And really what this is an expansion project. We're talking about where MARTA Rail is ending at the airport, then going ahead and expanding this further throughout Clayton County, taking it from the airport all the way down to the South Lake Mall area. And so with that, it would come out of the airport on its own little busway, and then work its way out to Riverdale Road, and it can go south on Riverdale Road to Garden Walk, and then go across Garden Walk eastbound to State Route 85, and then take its way south down State Route 85 to Lamar Hutchinson, and then work its way back northbound on Lamar Hutchinson to Upper Riverdale Road, and then going eastbound Upper Riverdale Road over to Terra Boulevard, then a short stretch south on Terra Boulevard to Mount Zion, and then east on Mount Zion, working its way over to Lake Drive, and then up to South Lake Mall. One thing I did have was some handouts. I remember you wanted me to make sure that we brought those, so we did. We did bring a one-pager, and we have handed that out. I'm not sure if did you guys get a copy? Everybody got a copy? Okay, great. Good deal. And so again, with this being an expansion project, what this is going to do for the citizens of Clayton County is give them that opportunity to get around to various locations within the county. Major, like the South Lake Mall, of course, and the medical center, and also working their way up to the airport, whether you wanted to get off at the airport terminal or if you wanted to take it from there and get onto the MARTA system and work your way into the city of Atlanta and go to other areas. And so that would give a lot of flexibility in that way. And also for others on the outside, working their way back and coming into Clayton County. We just heard about some of the housing and the expectations that are coming into the county, which is great news. And so once you start getting that type of development here, then you're having a system, a transportation system that works on a frequent basis. That too is another generator and another attractor for people to come in and out of Clayton as well. So the total estimate cost of the project is $356 million. And so, of course, FTA is excited about the project, and they have offered up to $70 million towards the project currently. As we have done a lot more design with the project, and we're now into the 30% design of the project, we've actually realized that we could qualify for actually more funding. And so with that, we're getting ready to submit another, what we call a CIG application. And that application is to FTA to actually get more funding for the project, more federal funding for the project. So that would take the 70 and take that up to 150 million from FTA. And so what that would do is that would leave more money on the table for Clayton County to go ahead and utilize those extra funds for other projects that you may want to do in the county. And so that's what we're working on right now. We meet with FTA on a regular basis, like monthly, and we have talked to them about what we're getting ready to do, and they're very much in favor with that. And so with that being said, one thing that we're trying to do with submitting this application, with the plan is to submit it in August, is that we definitely want to make sure that they know that the jurisdictions are showing support for the project. And so with that, we do have an IGA, and that's what we've been talking about quite a bit here. And so with the IGA, it really just covers the roadways, allowing us, and basically saying that Clayton County is working with us, and of course, allowing this project to happen within the right-of-way. And so the right-of-way that's really affecting Clayton County directly would be the Garden Walk Boulevard, Upper Riverdale Road, and Mount Zion. And then, of course, if there's any condemnation that we would need, then we would have assistance with Clayton County assisting with that. When it comes to maintenance, as the project is finished being built, it would be routine road maintenance that Clayton County would continue to do. And then any of the roadways that have dedicated lanes or signage, then there would be some maintenance of those items. So the dedicated lane pavement markings, typically that's 5 to 7 years lasting with those, and dedicated lane signage could go as long as it's in place and reflective. So what MARTA is responsible for is, of course, doing the design, which we're doing currently now, and then, of course, financing and constructing the project. Once the project is constructed, we'll be maintaining stations, any appertunes. There's several things at these stations. They've got cameras, they've got real-time arrival signage, there's bench seating, all types of things at the stations, and so we'll be maintaining all those as well. And of course, long-term asset maintenance, definitely be working with Clayton County on that. And of course, we'd notify Clayton County if there's any major alignment changes or anything that's happening within 10 days or so. And then that way we'd all be on the same page. So the agreement just has a regular general term of the 50-year term. And then, of course, if either party was looking at trying to terminate the agreement, there's a 60-day written notice that each would have mutual consent, and then, of course, the agreement would terminate. Now, there's been some stakeholder and community engagement. So just looking back, there was an open house that was done back in March of 2024, a lot earlier on. And then in 2025, there was a TOD bus tour. And so I'm not sure, I think some of you members may have been on that as well. And there's been some station area planning charrettes, and just talking about that. There's also earlier this year a GDOT ride-along, and so we had that. We did have some one-on-one meetings with the Clayton County commissioners. Now moving forward, we're looking at some participation in the Comprehensive Transportation Plan open house. And we really, after a lot more engagement with your stakeholders and your technical staff, and once we're getting a little bit further on in the design, a little bit further on this year in September, October timeframe, want to get out and start getting out to the public. Start having public meetings, and the way that we'll talk about that and find out what type of public meetings are you all expecting. If you like town hall meetings, do you like NPUs, or whichever types of those meetings, to get out and actually talk to the public. And so we'll get in and engage in that way as well. And also, we want to also get you all together and come on out for a tour. we do have the Summerhill Bus Rapid Transit Project that is right now in service. And I'm not sure if you all had the opportunity to get out there and ride it or not, or check it out. So we definitely want to make sure that we just set something up, take y'all out there and just see how this runs and get a visual instead of just conversation on it. And so with the project timeline, again, we're at 30% design, and that's been submitted. That's also been submitted to Clayton County, all the jurisdictions. Of course, we're doing the work session right now. And then, of course, moving forward in August, that's our plan, is when we're planning on sending a new application to FTA to try to get more funding. And so with that, we would definitely want to be able to show support at that time. So that's really what we're looking to make sure that we have the IGAs along with that to show some support. And then again, like we talked about in the fall, the public meetings and just continued constant public engagement, stakeholder engagement, and just continue to work together with the technical staff and everybody and making sure that the project is being designed and working for Clayton County. And then of course, going into revenue service. So right now, revenue service is planned to be February of 2032. One thing that did happen with our current project, we got to a point where we were actually able to start this project. Like, we're actually still in construction with the Summerhill project, just wrapping it up, doing some work on the station. So we have some temporary stops up along Hank Aaron while we're finishing it off. But the actual service is actually running. People are utilizing the service. And so this is our final revenue service date. You never know if something could happen before that date. And that was just what I wanted to show y'all and talk a little bit further. I know that we've actually talked a lot about the project in its entirety, so just open it up for any questions or comments.
All right, board members, are there any questions at this time?
I do have just kind of two quick questions.
All right, Commissioner
One,
Davis.
there is, initially, it's a $356 million project, correct?
Correct.
Right now, there's 70 million, so that leaves roughly right now about an extra 286 million. Where does that extra where does that 286 million come from?
That comes from the 1% sales tax.
So Clayton County.
Correct.
That's okay. And if
Is that the whole penny or the half penny?
Half penny.
yes, so and you're going after another, you said 170 million.
We're going after another 80 to bring that 70
To
up
bring
to,
it to 170.
yeah, 150 million.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, got it. To bring down to 50, I'm sorry. Okay, so that's Clayton County's responsibility. The other part I'm looking in here, which I know we had talked about before privately in the one-on-ones, but the maintenance cost to the roads. How is Clayton County going to be, we got heavy equipment on these roads that are going to be traveled, the maintenance cost. I know I spoke to Keith Rawlings about that as well, and that's something that he's concerned with as well. So something in the IG must be put forth to begin to handle those costs and how we're going to prepare for those costs.
Okay, and we can definitely do that. Right now, you do your typical roadway maintenance, and so that really wouldn't change from what you're typically doing. And again, with any utility cuts or anything that happens along those lines, you would make sure that your utility people come back and do proper restoration of the roadway. And if there is, if it happens to be in the area where there is a dedicated lane, then have them, put back the red pavement marking as such. With regards to asset management long-term, then yeah, definitely MARTA would be able to work together with Clayton County, and we can talk further about how that goes. But we'd be utilizing the
I think that's
sales
something
tax.
that's imperative and key to this project, because going forward, once the completion is had, then MARTA is operating with a fair base, but Clayton County is still responsible for the maintenance of those roads. So I want to make sure we have something in place for that.
Okay.
And the other one, as far as you had Clayton County is responsible for the condemnation of properties on right-of-ways. Have you identified those properties?
Now that we have the 30% design, we are now starting to see where the right-of-way impacts will be. And so we have submitted a set of plans. We'll be going through those together. And as we refine it, we can get more finite with that, and then we can talk a little bit further about that, yeah.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hamburg.
Oh,
Sorry, let me say one thing. Commissioner, to your question, so that you'll know, when it pertains to the maintenance costs, that is in the IGA.
Great.
Yeah, so we did, As the interim director talked specifically about the reimbursement or the costs associated with the BRT line, considering it may not be in the maintenance calendar for the roads that might need the upgrades, wanted to make sure that was capturing that
Great.
expense on the MARTA side.
Okay, Mr. Rawlings, he's in agreement with
He was
that?
shaking his head, isn't that right, Chris?
He's got
And,
thumbs up.
Keith, yes, okay.
Thank you.
Right, because, so are those buses gonna be a lot heavier than what the buses are already? Because they're tearing the roads up now, so.
Yeah, right now, we've planned to utilize electric buses for this project. And so electric buses, yeah, are a little heavier, but at each of the stations, we do have a concrete base right there. And so when the buses are doing the stop-start at the stations, they'll be starting off of a concrete base. So they'll be typically just rolling along, for the most part, along the roadways,
Okay.
outside of stopping and
I
starting.
don't recall anything being that clear about maintenance, road maintenance in the IGA. So what Commissioner Davis was saying, which I definitely agree, those buses tear up our roadways. And are you all saying you're gonna pay for that, or are we responsible, or is GDOT responsible?
No, ma'am. So as we talk specifically about the BRT route, what will happen is, based upon the IGA in space right now, when we talk about the wear and tear, once it gets to that point where the BRT line may not be in tandem with the road itself, we're asking that the percentage of that is reimbursed back through MARTA because of the dedicated BRT line in space. That is outlined in the actual IGA. And we've gone through several iterations with that between the two legal departments, but the last iteration of that is highlighting
Can
it.
our legal department come up and
Sure,
to this?
yes.
Mr.
I mean,
Reed,
I
come up.
appreciate you, Mr. COO, but, you know, that, and I'm still trying to find out where the half penny is. I still haven't gotten the balance on that. So did you bring that tonight? Marta?
Actually, personally, no, I have not.
You?
Mr. Reed,
I just don't want it to be some confusion, 10, 15, when our streets have potholes, holes, people, I mean, what is going on? Because those buses aren't gonna always be in those dedicated lanes. Which brings up another question. Are we taking away a lane? But let's answer this about the maintenance first, because I think we need to be specific on who's responsible for paying for the maintenance.
The agreement does speak to that in section 3.
Do you have your copy?
I do.
don't recall that being specific as MARTA will pay for the maintenance of the roads. Is that how it reads? I don't recall seeing it.
It's specific.
Okay.
That was one of the things that we made sure that was placed in there. Section 3 talks about ongoing maintenance of the roadway, any dedicated lines, signage, pavement markings within right-of-way. That's our responsibility, and then MARTA's responsibility.
Our responsibility is who?
To-
Who's our? MARTA
The
or
county's
us?
responsibility is to perform ongoing maintenance of the roadway and any dedicated lines, signage, pavement markings within the right-of-way. MARTA's responsibility is to reimburse the county for expenses relating to Section 3.
We have to pay, and they reimburse?
Right, because otherwise, I mean, they won't know we don't want to wait for them to give us the money before we start doing the work. So once we finish the work, we'll submit the costs to them, and then they will reimburse the county for its expenses.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
There were,
Reed.
yeah, there were questions from last week. Okay.
I got your answer,
Yes.
so I'm gonna call Carolina up here.
come on up, Ms. Caroline.
Good evening. So currently in the Clayton County Reserve bucket, as of Friday, there's $346.2 million. And so, of course,
Hold on,
that's
say that once more.
$346.2 million. And again, that is what we pull out of for this project and the Justice Hub O&M. So as expenses are incurred from the project, that's where we pull it from.
Are we notified of these expenses?
No,
that you
ma'am.
all appro-
Just like all the other jurisdictions for MARTA, you know, as we incur those project costs, like, for example, Atlanta's half penny, we move forward and take out from that specific budget for those projects,
So it's
similar
really
to what
not our
you all.
money.
Yes, you all are paying for it, but of course, MARTA is following through with the projects that were agreed upon.
Okay, which, tell me, okay, projects that were agreed upon?
Yes, in the 15th Amendment, the rapid transit
Right.
contract, yes. So those are where that half penny is paying for, those projects in that agreement.
Okay, it's a little
And all
clearer
of those
now.
projects are within Clayton County.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, because I've heard that the money goes other places. No. Okay, so we are paying for the Justice Center, all of that?
Yes,
We are paying for the maintenance building
Mhm.
that you all are putting in Forest Park,
yes, ma'am.
but yet the buses are coming from all over?
How's,
The buses that are being maintained, those are buses that are used for DeKalb, Fulton, Atlanta, but yet Clayton is paying for it. Is that correct? Or-
all jurisdictions pay in for the maintenance of the buses. Again, as you know, with fleets and buses, there may be a point where garage needs to switch out buses, so we don't, all, the core penny for all jurisdictions maintain all of the buses across our jurisdiction.
Just a quick question. So having the OEM facility, the operation, actually, can you define OEM?
Operation and maintenance facility.
Yeah. Having the operation and maintenance facility in Clayton County, specifically in Forest Park, would mean faster routes and faster turnarounds for MARTA buses within the county?
It would mean essentially if there's any issues with the buses in Clayton County specifically, we could get bus supervisors out there, exchange the buses a lot faster, so that way the interruption of service is not prolonged.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would like to see this Summer Hill project before we vote on this.
We are planning for sometime in August or September. We're finalizing internally availability, and we'll be following up with your deputy COO along with.
Okay, so we don't have to vote on it until August or whatever.
It would be important, just as Mr. Holder stated earlier, we're going to resubmit to FTA to get re-rated. So as you were mentioning, Commissioner Davis, we're going after $80 million, which would, benefit Clayton, so that $80 million can go towards other projects or anything else as we move forward on discussions with our agreement.
And I think I asked Tuesday that you're going, the deadline for that application is when?
We're actually submitting that application on mid-August.
Okay.
And so we're just trying to get all the information together and
Great.
just
Thank you.
so we can be able to submit it.
All right, board members, are there any other questions at this time? All right, thank you for your presentation, and did you have anything else you want to say?
No, I just wanted briefly to say that that I like the way and I heard the housing advance and like with the BRT and all that, the direction that Clayton is going into. This is really good. It's a good thing for Clayton County. I've seen already what's happening in Atlanta. Just looking at that Hank Aaron area and how things are changing and the type of housing, the live, work, play and all that, those communities. And then you've got this transit system coming through on a very frequent basis. So it gets people to feel like, okay, this is something that I want to do. Up and down Garden Walk, when I went out there, I saw there was a few different housing complexes out there. And I know that they're probably, driving around, but if they did see a transit system like this on a routine basis and they wanted to get somewhere to a destination or something, they may start thinking, well, maybe we could just go out here, walk out, jump on this and head up to the airport, head down to South Lake Mall or wherever they're going. So.
Yeah, which brings me to this real quick. I know the purpose of this, since we don't have the rail, I won't have the trains.
Right.
So how much time is this gonna save us, or save the riders, as far as point A, point B kind of thing? And
Well, one thing is we're getting ready to get a study count done by our consultant team, so I'll be able to get that to you. Right now I can say frequency. We're going to have a lot more frequency because the current buses, like when you're waiting out there, these buses are coming 45 minutes to an hour. Now you're talking about 10 minutes. So if you miss one, it's not the end of the world. Another one's coming in about another 10 minutes, and you can jump on and keep it moving. And so with that, and with some of the lanes and the way to get down to, say from the airport down to South Lake Mall or vice versa, the ride would actually be a lot faster too as well. To give you exact time, I'll be getting that to you real soon, but definitely would be faster.
To that point, can you talk a little bit more about how the dedicated bus lanes are part of the reason why the BRT buses can have that faster turnaround? Or,
Yeah.
sorry, I forget
it's a
the exact
faster
terminology
headway.
you just
Yeah,
used.
yeah, they call it headway. And so what happens there is there's certain locations along the route, we're going to have dedicated lanes. And so what that does is, those are bus-only lanes. And so what that is so the bus will be traveling in those lanes. And so they won't really be impeded by a lot of the other traffic, except for other buses. So that'll allow them to move a lot more freely up and down that part of the roadway. And as well, they'll have something on them called TSP. It's a transit signal priority. And so what happens there is, let's just say we consider the running a little behind. Then as they travel along and they see a light, it can hold the green time, similar to like how an ambulance does. So the bus can actually work its way through and then get to the next stop. And so it's going to be very rail-like. It's just rubber tires on ground. But the frequency is what we're getting at.
Did you all answer whether or not you're taking a lane away from the lanes that we have already?
Yeah, it's on a couple of the roadways, and on Garden Walk, Boulevard, there would be, right now, the current design that we're looking at is, there's 2 lanes up, 2 lanes down. And so, looking at the traffic volumes that are coming onto that roadway, that stretch of roadway, that's really from Riverdale down to SR 85, you've got 1 lane of traffic getting its way in and out, up and down that roadway, and then the other lane we would have for dedicated bus lanes. And so with the traffic counts themselves right now, the impedance on the traffic is not very heavy right now. I think we shared that along with Keith and discussed that. And then also another roadway is on Mount Zion too. Mount Zion, there's a section on Mount Zion as well. On those 2, not on Upper Riverdale Road though.
Which Mount Zion? Which Mount Zion?
Oh, the section, okay, from Terra Boulevard over to Lake Drive.
Mount Zion Road.
The one from,
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
'cause
yeah,
it's
yeah.
so
So, okay,
many,
okay, got you.
yeah.
Yeah, Mount Zion Road, the part that's close to South Lake Mall.
right.
That piece.
Well, I mean, all of it.
Right. And working your
I
way.
think I know the
In
one
that
that
area.
connects to Terra.
Terra
I think
Boulevard,
that's-
correct.
Okay.
Yes.
That's about like Peachtree almost.
You're right. There's so many peace trees. Good point, good point.
All right, any other questions? All right, well, thank you for that presentation,
All
and we look forward to working with you, and we look forward to getting down there to,
yourself?
did you want something else?
No, you said we doing something.
Going downtown to see the
Yeah, the Summer.
BRT at Summerhill.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you said you want to go, so I'm, when we get there.
And I will tell you that, and those were like the formal names with the federal money, but we've actually got branding for them. So that one's called Rapid A Line, and of course Clayton's will be the Rapid B Line.
But
So-
I'll definitely be on the field trip, so I'm
Okay.
gonna speak for myself and make sure I'm there, so, because
Okay.
I want to see everything.
Looking-
All right, thank you.
Thank you all.
Next on the agenda is code enforcement, and Warden Amy is here, and he will be doing a synopsis, update on code enforcement.
Okay, good evening, Madam
Good
Chair, Madam Vice Chair, and Commissioners. This evening, I will highlight the updates of code enforcement over the last 6 months. Before I get started, I would just like to say, listening to the speakers before me really puts me in the mind, and I want to thank my staff for being here tonight also. And it just make me think, and I'm happy about the approach we have taken to improve code enforcement. Okay, the steps that we have taken to improve code enforcement and the culture changing of code enforcement. So I will highlight some and go from there. Okay, mission and vision. The mission of code enforcement is to improve the quality of life for Clayton County residents through fair, consistent, and effective code enforcement. The overall vision is to build a modern and community-focused code enforcement division through emphasis of accountability, operational excellence, officer safety, community engagement, and consistent enforcement. Organization transformation. Some of our major accomplishments that we accomplished over the last 6 months. We have improved operational efficiency, increased accountability across the division, enhanced officer safety initiatives, strengthened community partnerships, modernize enforcement practices, improve customer service. The goal is to deliver professional, transparent, and effective code enforcement services. By doing this, what I did was apply the 5 C's of organizational change.
Good job. 5 C's. I like it. Keep going.
Okay, applying the 5 C's of organization change. Okay, the first one is clarity. What we did was define organization vision, updated roles and responsibilities, establish clear enforcement expectations, communication, regular staff updates, transparent change management, encourage employee feedback, commitment, leadership engagement, staff participation, resource support, capability, training, and coaching, skills development, updated procedures and tools, culture, continuity. Just to expand on that a little, successful change requires aligning the initiative with existing organizational values. This means embedding new behaviors into company culture and reinforce them continually through feedback and measurement so that the change lasts, ensuring the team doesn't revert to old habits. We've started this by a new centralized code enforcement facility. The current locations, which is 2 for right now, is 1669 Flicker Road and 1285 Government Circle. The new facility is at 879 Battle Creek Road. If you take a look on the left, that is the old facility. The new facility is on the right that we're constantly renovating. Hopefully, we'll be able to occupy that building sometime very soon. Operational improvements, daily corridor inspections, officers assigned to specific major roadways to address illegal signage, litter, illegal dumping, property maintenance issues, quality of life concerns. Results, more proactive reinforcement, faster response, improved community appearance. Technology and enforcement partnerships. Partnership with Clayton County Police Department utilizing the flock camera system The benefits of that is identify illegal dumpers, track repeat offenders, improve investigation, increase accountability, strengthening evidence collection. Community engagement. Community engagement. We have created a citizen ride-along program. The purpose is to increase transparency, build public trust, educate residents, showcase officer responsibilities, expected outcomes, a stronger community relationships, better understanding of code enforcement, increase public confidence. Policy and operational improvements, modernize efforts, updated policies and procedure, develop new standards of operating procedures, property inspection standards, community service expectation, chain of command responsibilities, enhance supervision, structured case reviews, better documentation, improve legal defensibility, consistent enforcement. Performance management. We want to improve operation metrics. We want to track what we're doing, track response time, track caseload times, compliance rates, proactive versus reactive enforcement, performance reporting. The benefits of that, better decision-making, increased accountability, improved service delivery. Officer safety, safety initiatives. Officer safety remains one of our top priorities. Current improvements, issuing the XL dog horns. I've been told that the dog horns are ineffective. We're looking into other things that we can use to help with officer safety. Again,
Dog horn.
one of the biggest things that we do. Additional protection during property inspections, improve response to aggressive animals.
Then what's the dog horn?
What's a dog horn?
It's the dogs, it's designed when the dog run towards you, whatever the case may be, to activate this thing, and it's supposed to deter the dog. Now, I've been told some better things to use are like a dog stick or something like that. Now, we haven't tested that, but I was told that the dog horns were ineffective. So, again, we got to come up with other means. We've been exploring some things like the spray and pepper spray, different things because it can be a problem. I know that firsthand. I've had encounters myself.
Yeah, there's something in the news now about some police officer shooting, what are these dogs? The ones that people have for
Service dog?
service dog,
Oh,
right? That's in
okay.
the news now.
Okay,
Right,
yes,
so.
absolutely. Okay, regional collaboration. Our first Clayton County Code Enforcement Summit was held April 26th. The purpose of that is to strengthen collaboration, share best practices, improve countywide coordination. This is something that we've been attempting to do for a long time now. All the cities within Clayton County, we got them all together. We started to share some of our ideas, talk about, and it brought me to a specific case that we had with Jonesboro. Every time a complaint was made to Jonesboro, you know, they would tell them, well, this is not our case, or whatever the case may be. Well, in the past, you know, we didn't have anything to do with Jonesboro in that aspect, but now Jonesboro will turn that over to us or tell them the right person to contact, I mean. So now that's countywide. We're collaborating with Lake City, Morrow, everybody. And we're holding this meeting. We hold the meeting like this will be our second meeting that's going to be held in late August, September, just to talk about different things and try to help each other out instead of working against each other. One of the main things, we've taken the stance that Clayton County, yeah, we don't have any jurisdiction in certain areas or whatever the case may be, but we get blamed for it. So if we're gonna get blamed for it, then we need to try to have a say-so into something. So that's why we're collaborating with all the rest of the guys, and we wanna call them up. We wanna get to know them. I don't wanna call just Lake City, I wanna call Bob of Lake City. A collaborations like that and get to know these guys to help out Clayton County, not Lake City or Lovejoy or whatever the case may be, Clayton County. Okay, initiatives for the remainder of 26 planned projects. We're in the early stages of starting a dedicated code enforcement court. We're still looking at it. We're looking to start with a part-time or retired judge or qualified attorney, and we know that's going to turn out for a faster case resolution, improve compliance, increase accountability, Community Code Enforcement 101, resident education, common code violation, compliance assistance, and we want to expand this to public education, commissioners e-blast, Channel 23 government television, community outreach. Okay, looking ahead, continuing priorities, and after listening to the speakers before me again, we're looking to do things top-notch in Clayton County. Well, whether we want to or not, code enforcement is going to be a big part of that. There's no way out of it. So in order to be a big part of that, some of the things or all of the things that I just mentioned, we have to do, and we have to continue to do it, and we got to do it at a high level. Again, looking ahead, continuing priorities, strengthen partnerships, increase operational efficiency, improve public trust, enhance officer safety, deliver consistent enforcement, expand community education, promote compliance through proactive enforcement. In conclusion, build a stronger Clayton County. The Code Enforcement Division has made significant progress in modernizing operations, strengthening accountability, improving officer safety, enhancing community engagement, delivering more consistent enforcement, commitment, creating a cleaner, safer, and more compliant Clayton County for every resident. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question. So, Warner Amy, I know that you are definitely moving to move code enforcement. You all are excellent, but you know, higher than excellence. But I do want to talk to you. I want to see how many, in order for you to utilize your officers and actually be able to do the work that you really want to do in Clayton County, how many officers do you have now, and how many officers do you project that you will need in order to do what you all need to do in code enforcement, as far as cleaning up and the things that you all do throughout the county?
Okay, we apparently right now, we have about
37.
37 officers.
Mhm.
Okay? And we've looked at code enforcement from top to bottom.
Mhm.
Some of the different things right now, I know that we got to work with what we have. Of course, I would love to have some more, okay, to do the things that we need to do. And really, I'm looking at more personnel for all the things that the speakers got up and talked about.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself,
People, we're growing, so.
yeah, we're growing. We got different things going on, and we're going to need more people. We're going to do it. But my focus now is what we have right now. We just got to look at the work a little bit more closer. But the main thing, Madam Chair, and I hate to bring it up at this point, I really do, but we really need to. We got to try to help the people out that we have
Work
right
on the
now.
pay, is that what you want to say?
Yes, ma'am.
So just say it. I got you.
We need to help them out.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, one thing I will say, over the last 6 or 7 months, we've been driving. I've required a lot of my staff. I mean, a lot, and it's going to require a lot more.
Yeah.
But when that study came out that code enforcement was left out and couldn't get any money, you know, that old saying where you take a few steps and
Then you feel like you're going
take
right
a few
back.
back.
Mhm.
Well, we was moving in the right direction, and you know that took us a few steps back.
Yeah, I got you.
And
Gotcha.
I just want to try to do something for them, and I plan to get with the CFO, the COO, the assistant COO,
There goes CFO right there.
CFO, and try to come up with something.
Got you.
And go from there to try to compensate our folks for the work that I know they're gonna have to do.
Yeah.
We gotta do it, and especially to hear the things that I've heard tonight, we gotta do it.
Yeah.
And we just can't settle for anything less.
Yeah, I got you. And that's why I brought that up, because we want to make sure we're equitable across, our departments, and making sure that you all have what you need as well. And I know you get a lot of requests, a lot of people on Clayton saying this needs to be done. And that's why I'm asking you as far as manpower and cleaning up, let's come up with a plan, and let's kind of sit down and look. Like you said, let's talk about pay increases as well for you all, and let's also come up with a plan of how many you would predict or that you would need in the next few years, or how many extra people you would need, so we can make sure that we continue to take care of the county. So,
Yes, ma'am.
all right. Commissioner Henry, you got any questions?
Yes, well, not so much questions, but a couple comments and suggestions. And thank you all, police, fire, code enforcement, community development. Last week, I think it was, when we had that emergency with the partying house and all, and we came together like in less than 24 hours, and you all worked together and came up with a plan.
Yes.
And so far,
Yes.
the house is shut down. Now, I think we did get something back with the question as to were we in compliance ourselves and all. So I don't know. I don't know if you got that, Chuck, or not, but I think GK did. But anyway, but thank you all so much. I want to say that publicly. A couple things. I guess we need some suggestions from you all as far as ordinances are concerned. I had a case just today with the neighborhood complaining about 4 or 5 cars in the driveway. They've been there for weeks. They don't know if they are workable, operable or not. They are backed in, so you can't see the tag, because that was one of the questions, were the tags updated? So I don't know. I'm sure that'll come to you. Captain already has it. So I don't know what we can do about that, but the residents in that neighborhood are complaining a lot about that. And the car that is operable is parked on the street, so we may end up having to call the police about that one. Let's see. When code enforcement officers are riding around and see a violation, can they stop and do something then, or do they have to call it in or ignore it, or what happens with that?
Okay, as soon as they notice a violation of whatever the case may be, they can call it in, because when they move from place to place, they have to call in and let people know where they are, let the supervisor know where they are. So right now, we have implemented a plan where they ride in neighborhoods and specific roads or whatever the case may be, and that's what they're there for. If they notice something or a violation, they need to address it right then and there and let the supervisor know. And depending on what it is, whether or not we need to take action on that particular violation right then and there. If it's a danger to or an emergency, we have to take action right then and there. We call it in and call the appropriate people who is pertaining to. So yes, ma'am, we got to react right then and there.
So do we still go through the trash? Do the workers still go through the trash? I remember some years ago, some workers used to go through the trash and find out the addresses when they drop, these bags, and I guess when they don't have trash service or whatever, go through the trash and find out who, owned it or whatever, and actually take them to court. I haven't heard that recently, but I know that has happened in the past.
That kind of faded away.
Yeah.
But if we have to,
Yeah.
or we're trying to find out about a case or who we need to cite or whatever the case may be, we're not above it. We'll do whatever we need to do, just in case we have to cite somebody or whatever the case may be. So if that's the only thing that we have and we have to go through that trash, then by all means, we'll do it.
Right. There was several recommendations in here that I'm glad, and thank you so much. One of them is the usage of the flock cameras, because there's a spot in my district. Well, there are a couple, but this one, the main one, and I think it's somebody that used to live in our area that knows that they can drop the trash there, and they do it and keep going. Right at 314 and 138, there's a wide area, and they've dropped large items and whatever. There used to be a flock camera close to that. Some kind of way, Chief, it's been moved down some. So I'm wondering, can we get that flock camera back up there so we can watch who's doing this? Because they've left like toilet bowls, seats or whatever, mattresses and things. So I didn't know the flock cameras could do that. I thought they only got the, cars in motion.
Technology is steadily growing, so.
And I have some other suggestions of places too.
Okay, love to hear them.
For the flock cameras. What, Chief, you were gonna
Chief,
say
come on
something
up.
about that? Do you know where I'm talking about? Because the camera was knocked over,
I
and
re-
then they moved it.
I recall, and I have to research why it wasn't set back up in the same place. And in reference to additional cameras, just be aware, they're not free, and we have a limited number that we're paying for right now. So if we start adding cameras, we got to find a funding source. But I agree. Now, I'll check on the 314 and 138 location
Right, yes,
and give you
please.
feedback.
I mean, yes. And if you would touch, Warden, on what all code enforcement entails, because what is it, that actually picks up the trash and
Refuse.
refuge, yes. Refuge and whatever comes under code.
Okay.
So just touch on it a little bit, because sometimes
Okay.
people think they don't know code enforcement entails a couple other things.
Okay. Be more than happy to. Okay. Refuse control. All of us, we're in the same department, which is the Clayton County Correction Department, but they do have different functions. Refuse control is mostly supervision of community service workers. They mostly walk roads on a daily basis. Those are the things that they do. They get in a van, they'll have a supervisor, and when we need 314 picked up,
Thank you so much for that.
we'll have either that. If we don't have that, we'll have to send a officer detail out there to pick them up, to pick up the road or whatever the case may be. When they cut the grass, they also pick up the road because the guys that weed eat the roads or whatever the case may be, to keep the tractor from cutting it up, they'll actually pick it up. Now sometimes something will get cut up in this tractor or whatever the case may be. Well, that creates more work. And of course, we don't want more work, so we'll have the community service workers go out and pick it up. Now, those are some of the things that relates to refuse control, picking up dead animals. That's what they do all day long. When you have the Claytons, that's what they do. They're in trucks, and if we have a lot of community service workers, that's what they do all day long, nothing but Claytons. All those go to Captain Gooden. I know you're aware.
Oh,
yeah, they go to her.
Good Sergeant,
McDonald.
what's her name?
Sergeant Murray.
Yes.
Right.
Thank God for those.
But now code enforcement, totally different. Another department that's headed by Major McDonald. What we do, we have certain routes and they have certain districts. Some of the officers, we have so many assigned to District 1, so many assigned to District 2, District 3, and District 4. Some of them in District 1 does commercial and so forth and so on with different, depending on the district or whatever the case may be. Some work residential side, some work commercial side. I mean, so they do several different things. Some of them they start to call people on, when you see the signs out there to say it's called so-and-so, we'll wash your house or whatever the case may be. We'll have some in the office calling those people, trying to set up some, because actually, when they put those illegal signs out there, it's littering. We can actually cite them for that. We try not to, and we try to give them the opportunity to pick them up or whatever the case may be. It doesn't happen a lot of times, so we have to tear down the sign. Now, they've got, it's a government telephone number. They can see it on the caller ID and all this kind of stuff, and when we call, a lot of times, they won't answer, so we try to get burner phones and try to call. I mean, we're trying a lot of different things to combat this stuff, and we just keep trying, doing the best that we can and all that. But overall, again, as I said before, we're requiring a lot from them. To me, and I'm not just saying this, I know they have improved, and we're gonna get better. We're gonna continue to get better. Because the things that Clayton have planned, if we don't get better, look, we're going to fall by the wayside, and the county is going to fall by the wayside, and we know the commission not going to let that happen. So, those are things that we talk about in our meetings and everything, that we got to improve on this, we got to improve on that, and just get better and better and better until we get to the point where we need to be.
Thank you so much, and thanks for your presentation. But I would like to get with you maybe tomorrow sometime regarding those cars and all.
Okay.
The residents were really upset about that.
Thank you.
Anything else? Thank you.
Not a question. I just wanted to shout out, thank you for this presentation. It's incredible. I got a chance to do a ride-along last year with Supervisor Davis when he was with residential. And I also want to shout out, since you're talking about code enforcement, Captain Gooden, because in District 1, every last Saturday of the month, Captain Gooden is organizing volunteers, and they're going to be doing cleanup and kind of beautification throughout District 1. And so I really appreciate that initiative that we're doing with code enforcement.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's another shout out for Captain Gooden.
Okay.
And another shout out for Captain Good. All right, thank you, Warden Amy. Next, we will move to Building and Maintenance, Department Assessment, O&M, and Director Mendoza.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, Commissioners. Through my time with Building Maintenance, I wanted to be able to share with you the assessment I've been doing with the department, to be able to give you a quick overview of what we are and what we do and how we're managing things right now. Let's just go on. Facility management. Over the past 5 years, Clayton County roughly added 219,000 square feet. We currently manage about 3.5, a little bit over 3.5 million square feet. Just to give you an overview of what this is or what that kind of relates to, imagine adding Lakes Bayou Recreational Center, Carl Road Nizer, South Clayton Rec, Griswold, Riverdale Library, IT Training, and Virginia Gray at the same time. That was just added in the last 5 years for the department. One of the current organizational charts with our department is as follows. Right now I stand as the director. I have an assistant director of PDC, which is Plan, Design, and Construction. That'd be Marty Fox. He manages his team members, which is project managers and inspectors. From there, I have my newly appointed assistant director, Colin Baxter. He manages my service managers, with them managing the rest of the team members, which include anybody from carpentry, plumbing, HVAC, and electrical systems. From there, I have my facilities administrator. She handles administrative secretaries for both the plan, design, and construction side and the administrative secretary for the O&M side. She also supervises the warehouse team. With Building and Maintenance, we carry our own supplies when it comes to facility maintenance. So in the event that we have something that needs to get replaced, repaired, we have it on hand for the most part. Now there's specialty equipment that we have to source out, hence a little bit of later lead time when it comes to completion of facility work orders. As it stands right now on our fiscal year budget of 2026, we had 4.2 million. On the accounts were stated, the 4815 had 2 million, 6010 had 1 million, 4140 had 1.2. This is all the repair and maintenance, building improvements, and contracted services for the county. If you divide that by the amount of square footage that we have and the total dollar amount, that roughly equates to $1.18 per square foot. By doing some benchmarking data, some research, going through the International Facility Management Association, the Association of Physical Plant Managers, and some other studies within the nation, Clayton County stands at that 1.8. National minimum is around 1.63, then you go national mid and national high. One of the things that I've been managing on my end is the staffing. What I have in my current designated workload. Within building and maintenance, the field technicians, the guys that handle your HVAC, your plumbing, your electrical, there is about 27 technicians in the field right now. So looking at it at operational staffing and maintenance side, we're roughly 26 to 37% of facility service demands. So that tells you the amount of people that I have are able to handle this percentage of facilities because of the reduced rate. So that tells you in the workload overview is that each technician, whether it be the guy that handles your complex building automation systems, your electrical systems, your plumbing systems, or the tech that comes in and, hey, there's ceiling tiles I need to replace, there's this I need to hang, there's this I need to build. Every single one of those technicians roughly handles 131,000 square feet. Non-discriminatory on experience. This is just, hey, all of you get this. That's what it is. A lot of the recommended medium maintenance for facility maintenance, for medium maintenance, it's going to be about roughly 47,000 square feet. So we're going from what we do right now at 131,000 to a recommended at 47,000 square feet. This is your moderate use facilities, general cycling, standard HVAC plumbing equipment, kind of includes office and library systems. So when you go to your high maintenance on a standard level, This is roughly putting a technician handling 35,000 square feet. That'll do your major facilities, the major items, major complex systems that we have, which include, again, the building automation systems, the lighting controllers, all these things. So those facilities will include safety buildings. You're talking police, fire, EMS, recreational centers, and senior centers. Our current facilities, we stand at a mid to high range maintenance. That's where we're at. Each field technician right now, as I've stated before, roughly handles 3 to 4 times the amount they should be handling right now. One of the things that I do like to point out is I support all my current colleagues when it comes to fire, when it comes to police, when it comes to all these people that we handle. They cannot do a job without a proper operating facility. And my goal is to be able to have their facilities operation where there is an HVAC system that goes down in the middle of the night, 2 in the morning, and I get a call, hey, this HVAC system is down. My fire department team or my firefighters cannot sleep, cannot work because this is going on. I get on the phone, let's get this taken care of. My police officers, hey, facility went down, XYZ. I'm on the phone, let's take care of this, let's handle them. And this is where it becomes really critical and important to be able to have the proper personnel for one, and the funding to be able to continue with these departments. The strategic departments. So one of the results of the current budget allocation and operational workload requirements will be deferred maintenance. Routine HVAC systems get delayed, minor issues sit too long, turn into action items. Preventative maintenance gets deferred because I'm trying to do my preventative maintenance on my facilities, but I'm having to jump over here because I have an issue and I have an emergency. So I'm having to defer that and go, hey, let me not do that because I have an issue I got to take care of right now. This leads to increase the repair costs. Small plumbing leak gets deprioritized because, hey, this is just something small. I have a major item going on over here. It turns into an emergency repair, water remediation service at this point. Past service lights, HVAC units. I am about repair. I've always been about repair. But when you come to some facilities and I look at these units and they're, I kid you not, I've seen units 26 years old on a commercial setting. We're way past our life expectancy. Some of y'all may know that even in residential units, you're getting 10, 15 years out of a unit, then you've got to start thinking, hey, we got to look at replacing at this point. We cannot continue to maintain this because one of the major things that comes into play is the refrigerant. Our 22 refrigerant is no longer manufactured. I cannot get it anymore. So I have to change 410A, 457B. It's all these refrigerants that are coming out. So a lot of the units within Clayton County that we've been progressively updating are getting replaced from that R22 because it's not feasible for us to be able to buy that refrigerant and continue to have it. It's just so much money to be able. They went from, I think, I want to say $80, $30 a pound, something like that, anywhere from $30 to $80. People are charging $100 and something, $200 a pound.
125.
There you go. You know what I mean? So, and that's what it doesn't make sense for us to be able to continue to maintain the systems because once these systems get older, there's no parts you can buy anymore. I cannot repair it. So I'm forced to be able to replace it. Facility deterioration, lack of proper maintenance. One of my initiatives I want to deal with is be able to sit with facility managers, sit with assistant directors and directors to be able to go, hey, I've installed a new floor in your facility. This is how you maintain it. To be able to give you that quick overview of how it is because they all have facility custodians and I want to make sure that we are having these floors and making sure they last as long as we can get them to last. Just stretch them out as much as possible. That's on my end. Also with the strategic importance is employee burnout. At 131,000 square feet, we are not stopping. We're going. We're going and we're going and there's no stopping on our end. I want to ensure that our team members last us a long time around here. All that historical knowledge that the guys have when it comes to HVAC, when it comes to plumbing, when it comes to electrical, I want to make sure that we are here for the long run and reduce fatigue, stress, lower productivity, and higher turnover. The current facility considerations on my end would be just look at budget allocations. There is a reason I came to the board or to finance meeting and said, hey, I sat right in this room and said, hey, I'm not looking for give me a home, just change a couple of things here and there. Remember, we sat with Mr. Jackson, we had those conversations, I'm like, hey, I'm looking for a plan. So the budget allocation, kind of parallel growth with your square footage. So if your square footprint increases, hey, let's look at what it is to be, what the cost is to maintain it, because we can build new all the time, but after we build, then we have to maintain. So if we don't maintain properly, these facilities start going downhill. And I'm wanting to ensure that I provide all these nice facilities or the improved facilities that we can to everybody in the county. The aging and high maintenance facilities. If aging facilities require increased preventative maintenance, additional labor hours, facility age and maintenance demand increase, and additional funding due to age. Those are the things that we don't see. As facilities age, the request for maintenance is going to increase. I mean, it's just like me, right? I get older, hey, I may need a little bit more, and this is what we look at in facilities. They might not be a breathing, living entity, but I do see them that way, and we got to be able to understand that. Employee compression on our end, there's increased employee workload, extended work order delay times, growing work order backlog, higher risk of employee burnout, and decline in service quality. And that's my priority, not to have a decline in service quality. If I get a call, if there's an issue in a facility, I want to be able to address it as fast as I can on my end. Preventive maintenance investments could include that if you decide to do a preventive maintenance investment, this will help you avoid costly repairs, extend infrastructure lifestyles, and prevent major facility repair, reducing emergency calls, overtimes, and callbacks. One of the departmental growth proposals on my end is to ensure staffing levels increase proportionally with square footage. This will maintain safe and efficient, sustainable operations. Facilities maintenance support should be based on square footage. That's where you should be at. This is one of the things that, as you go on and you learn, hey, even when you go out of here and go, hey, I want to rent a facility somewhere, square footage is going to cost. They're going to rent it by square foot. They're not going to say, hey, well, this building costs that. So we need to be understanding of that and kind of grow with that as well. I recommend a staffing increase trigger. The staffing increase trigger will be reviewed when a building concept is introduced, not even what's already in design and planning stages. So if we're looking to add a building, hey, let's prioritize the maintenance, because once that building goes out of warranty at the 1 year, then it's on us. Then it's on me. So I want to be able to handle that. Existing facilities are expanded and remodeled. So when you have a facility that's not in use and we remodel it and now they're using it, hence Annex 3, 4th floor. That facility, 4th floor was completely empty. That turned into the tax assessor's office now. So we expanded that facility, but there was no change here. And of course, your total square footage increases. When I talked to Director Jackson, I had a conversation and just playing here, having a growth proposal. Well, here's my proposal to be able to handle what we have as a county and how we're able to grow. One of the things on year one, stabilize and control critical operations, include team members, include vehicles, reduce emergency response times. Year 2, strengthen coverage. Year 3, expand preventive maintenance. Year 4, improve facility reliability. In year 5, reach midpoint staffing goal. And from there, year 6 to 10, to be able to have those total square footage increase, those building concepts introduced, those things that we need to be able to grow as a county to provide just better facilities for everybody. I'm not looking at somebody in general, I'm going everybody. Anybody that uses a facility needs to have that facility to be able to continue to work. Some of the revenue enhancements initiatives to be able to bring dollars back into the county or help support the county. I know when I work with a little bit of legal to be able to restructure lease agreements. Some of these entities that we have, they occupy space, but the county takes up a lot of the maintenance side of it. So kind of restructure lease agreements to be able to, hey, let's be in favor of the county. Let's make sure that we're taking care of what we have here and kind of reallocate those dollars back into the county. If there's a need that I have, hey, let me put those dollars back in there. Let me just make sure that I address these facilities the way they deserve. Maximizing vendor rebates. I'm currently working with a couple of vendors, particularly Georgia Power, because they have an incentive program. Their incentive program provides kickbacks to whoever is installing. Let's say I install a new piece of equipment. I provide the old piece of equipment and the new piece of equipment information. From there, Georgia Power does an assessment and goes, hey, you can save so many kilowatt hours. I'll give you a kickback for this, and it's a check to the county. Here you go. Now, it'd be nice if it could go back to the department, but I'll just leave it at there. Also, identify some non-tax-based revenue opportunities. This is something that is not a burden to the taxpayers. That'll be something that I can try to bring in dollars to the county that we don't have to go and rely solely on that funding source. Optimize operational efficiency, like evaluate your county-owned assets, your facilities, your operational process, kind of work with other departments and go, hey, I see what you got here. What do you, how can I help you here? What can we help each other? And kind of work with everybody together and bring everybody along and just go, hey, because that's what I'm about. I'm about building those relationships. I'm about having those conversations and going, hey, I have this person that can help me, but I'm also going to be there for you. My future organizational chart goes as follows. It goes from the bottom up because I believe I am the support system that carries everybody. I am there to help everybody along. I'm not going to be here to be your boss. I've told people before, I don't work here because I need a boss. I work here because I need a leader. I can find a boss anywhere. And they had a clear understanding of that. One of the goals that I would like to see is kind of do succession planning on this department, right? Create your project manager leads, your inspector leads that'll directly report to the assistant director of PDC. Then again, your lead MEP guys, which is mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and carpentry, and kind of bring that succession plan. Now, these lead positions, what I'm looking for, I come from the construction background, heavy construction background. I worked facility maintenance in the past, and I've worked a lot of years in construction. When doing construction, I had my lead guys. Those are the guys that I would trust to be able to do their job while I do troubleshoot, go make sure everything goes running operational, everything's right. So I want to be able to bring those lead positions that have that skill set, that have the carpentry, the electrical, the plumbing skill set, and also can handle the clerical side of the house. And that's kind of a transition step for the guys that are already working for the county as far as in the trades to go, well, that's my next step here. And then from there, I can go to the service manager position. From there, I can go to the assistant director. I can go there. So I want to be able to create that succession planning. In the event something were to happen, we still have a chain. We still keep on going. And on that, I will take any questions from you.
All right, board members, are there any questions at this time or comments?
Yeah, I do have one, a
Okay.
couple.
Commissioner Davis. One,
thank you. This has definitely been a necessary and needed presentation, so I thank you. But even looking at your employee growth on your chart, I'm looking at what the county had as far as total square footage and your, what was it, your median
Yes, sir.
staffing?
Yes, sir.
It seems like, and you have 27 employees right now?
Correct.
We do? It seems like then we're short already,
Correct.
about 19.
So
Between 22 and 25, I mean.
So my goal is, I have the team members right now. I need to be able to grow on year-to-year basis.
I understand that, but I think too, and I don't know if this was thought about when this was put together, but if we're gonna bring on a new government center, that also needs to be implemented within that as well.
100%. 100%. Yeah, any new facility that comes on board, like I said, there is no adjustment to the current budget, the current staffing level. There is no
Yes.
adjustment. It just keeps on going and keeps on going.
Mr. CO.
Yes, Commissioner Davis, one of the things that Director Mendoza continues to elevate is that there's a metric that talks about the number of individuals you should have per square footage. So taking into consideration, we will have an admin building, that only would increase, right?
Exactly.
Considering that we will bring on additional square footage. The other thing that he's talked about, and he's been very consistent in that, is that one of the other metrics that is very telling, we don't really have a capital outlay program funding source. We rely heavily on SPLOS. SPLOS is only renewed every 5 years. So if you're trying to catch up with inflation, even building, you never will catch up because you don't have an annual output of funding in space. So we recognize where we are financially, and they've been very diligent about working with what they got, even when the warden spoke about it from a code enforcement lens. But what we also recognize is that the growth is outpacing the money in the month, right? And so we're trying to figure out ways to be even creative in that. But what I appreciate, even not through just Director Mendoza's presentation, but also the warden's presentation, is that it's our responsibility to provide the policy lens to the board. And even one of the things he brought forward as the board talked specifically about revenue strategies, how we can bring in new revenue, he even introduced a revenue strategy within the Building and Maintenance Department. So to that end, we recognize that the policy work isn't easy. There's a lot of things that you're trying to juggle responsibilities with, but I think they've done a great job of at least elevating the story so you know specifically about what some of those inherent challenges are. So ultimately, we're working towards creating a better practice with those challenges.
Yeah, and I think with at the state level, with them changing some of the way you can utilize SPLOST, that we need to begin to look at that as well, as far as it now begin to be utilized somewhat for maintenance.
That's correct.
Yes.
I don't have a question, I have a statement and all, and I know what we have done, because I know the buildings that you all come and constantly emergencies or whatever, because I know we've called for the senior center, the rec centers and all that.
Yeah.
And maybe somewhere, at some point in time, that when these companies come to us and they're bidding, and we always go with what, the lowest bidder, and then they come back and then they want, you know, other amendments and money or whatever and all, and they just throw these buildings up. South Clayton Rec Center, Virginia Gray Rec Center, Carl Road Niles or whatever, they were built just like that. All of them have problems. I mean, big problems. And I know you all, I mean, I give a hands up to you and your staff, because, you know, we are constantly calling. And the Frank Bailey Senior Center, that addition of the exercise building, I don't know if you've ever been in there, and you can walk in that little walking trail and it sounds like the roof is coming off. It doesn't have to be a wind or whatever, and I don't know what that is. I'm sure that's some major work that has to be done on that. So if we could do a little bit differently, I know we don't have a lot of money to spend, but sometimes we need to look more for quality instead of just who's coming in here low bidding just to get the project and really can't do the job, or do a hurry, rush up, you know, kind of job or whatever and all, which causes more work for you all. So, I mean, I feel for you, for your department and all, because I know we pick up the phone, you know,
Yes, ma'am.
constantly calling.
Yes, ma'am. And one of the
about
things
problems
that
and
I
all.
did and work with the PDC development side of the house is I was able to go in and look at some of the projects that we were doing and the lack of quality that I was looking
Yes.
for. And I had conversations with those construction companies, because the conversation was had that, hey, there's not a whole lot of construction experience. Well, I do have a lot of construction experience, and I know where I'm coming from when it comes like that. So I have many, many years as a lead in construction. So I understand when it comes to, you know, what the quality is. At the end result, the end product is the quality that you're providing. That's it. And if you can't provide that, well, you may not need to be working for the county to be able to give us what we want.
Yeah. Well, hopefully these buildings that we're getting now, and the last, I guess, 5 years or whatever, and even our recent buildings, our fire and all that, you know, hopefully we have people that either are doing or have done a better job of the ones that are in the past.
So what we're doing is we're currently pushing, particularly with fire, kind of working together with the chief and kind of putting people in space to identify those issues. We do our punch
Good.
walks as well, and then contact directly the vendor, whoever made that facility, to put it on paper going, this is the issue we're having, I need you to address it. That way, later on the road, if something were to happen or there's an issue, hey, it's fully documented, here we go, we need to take care of it.
That's a good idea. And
Yes,
even, what do you call, these agreements, what do you call it, maintenance agreements or service agreements that we have, maybe we need to do some work on that, or changing it, or adding some years to the warranties
So
and all.
I've already started doing that a couple years back,
Okay.
particularly with like major facility equipment. There's extended warranties you can buy. You know how people say, hey, your extended warranty. Well, I do that all the time, because it adds a 3-year extended warranty. Let's say the HVAC systems, you had a 3-year extended warranty for like $500. Well, within those 5 years of the warranty period, the unit's going to fail. So that's when we come in. Now, understand with that labor part on the side. If I can handle it, I'll do it in-house. If I can't, I'll have the vendor do it. But the warranty of the part itself is replaceable at no cost to the county.
Thanks for starting that. You know, we've
Not a
had
problem.
A lot of bad experience.
All right, any more questions or comments at this time?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Director Mendoza, for this well thought out and thorough presentation. I think it's also helpful for folks, whether it's residents or even some of our county staff, to hear about the demand that is put on the building and maintenance staff, especially, I mean, this summer, record heat waves, last summer, and there were, you know, HVAC, there was air conditioning that was going out. I don't know if I see anyone from IT in here, but there was one point where one side of IT building AC went down, and then y'all fixed it, and then the other side went down. And so just like building and maintenance being able to be as responsive as possible, but also seeing, you know, I think it's fair to say y'all are understaffed. I think it's, I know that's not what you said, but just like reading this information, like we need more building and maintenance staff. We need more funding to go to building and maintenance, because the county literally cannot run if folks can't come inside the building, or they can't go inside the recreation centers, the senior centers, the courthouse, any of the buildings that the county maintains. The building and maintenance staff is doing that. So one, thank you all for that work. And I think this presentation, I hope, you know, answers folks' questions when they say, oh, we called building and maintenance and it took, you know, XYZ amount of time to get something fixed. Well, what we need to be doing is being a lot more proactive to make sure that it's not an emergency situation where, you know, y'all are on call having to fix something in the middle of the night or on a weekend.
Yes, ma'am. And on my end, if, like I said, if I get a call at 2 in the morning, I'm going to answer that call.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to answer
And
that call.
we get the text
Yeah.
messages at 2 in the morning.
Yes, ma'am. So-
And I just want to also thank you for Frank Bailey the other day as well.
Not a problem.
6 o'clock in the morning.
6:30.
6:35. And
6:35.
so we're up, making sure, again, with you. Don't forget
Hey.
the board. So we get those calls at 6:30 in the morning, those text messages, and I got the call though. And so I just want to say thank you all for getting over there and taking care of that building as well.
Not a
So,
problem. And one last thing, it's all about working together with me.
Yeah.
I like working together with everybody, but I will say, a lot of my team members, some of my team members are Clayton County residents.
Yeah.
And I would be remiss without saying that I appreciate them all the time, because I know they will be seeing this.
Yes. All right.
Oh, I wasn't done.
Okay.
So in the 10-year facility maintenance sustainability plan, I love this line. Any new facility added to the county's portfolio should include a maintenance impact assessment, identifying additional staffing, vehicles, tools, and operating budget. We began to have this conversation earlier this year, last year, when Clayton County was discussing SPLOST and the new SPLOST vote that was taken. So any new buildings, new facilities, there should be that conversation of how much is it going to impact the budget once those projects break ground, once those projects are operational. And in this, 10-year plan, is there a way, and this might be a CFO question, COO question, to incorporate those costs in those future facilities, whether it's the 2027 SPLOST or whether it's the 2022 SPLOST, to say, okay, we need to be looking 10 years in 1, 3, 5 years in the future, how much is it going to cost to maintain those buildings so that it can start being incorporated in the budget?
Very good point, Commissioner. I think that we do that. The problem is the doing only looked at the programmatic element. So for instance, we build a new recreation center. We cost out the cost to run the facility. We do not cost out the maintenance costs associated with the support that's needed from building and maintenance.
Great, can we do that?
Certainly.
Wonderful.
Certainly, we'll love to. So
Okay.
I think another part of that, because we did do some of that initially in this past year's budget. But the question is, it goes back to from a policy lens. Are we going to adopt that from a priority that we add that as part of the cost, or it really depend upon what our priorities are from a board standpoint? And that's where it differs sometimes. So the ask oftentimes is there. The question is that are we going to ensure that it's a policy direction to ensure that that cost is also included into the programming element of that facility? We make sure we have the librarian in the library, we make sure we have the program coordinator in the recreation center, but we don't necessarily cost out the maintenance person that might need to be assigned indirectly to that department. So therefore, it's not looked upon as a necessary cost or unnecessary expense per se.
We should do that. Let's do that.
Not a problem.
So that sounds like a policy that the board, perhaps come up with a sample language for what that can look like, so we can start working on that, especially considering the facilities are aging. And, goodness, what is it? There was something that was like 26 years old, and there are no longer parts for that. And so just being able to incorporate that into the budget, and then making sure that those are, dedicated sources. Because from the way I see it, we vote on the SPLOS, like the residents vote on the SPLOS, and we're just like, yay, we're excited for these new buildings. But as you said, SPLOS does not cover the maintenance.
That is
does
correct.
not cover
Or
the
personnel.
annual maintenance.
Yes, ma'am.
It is only the infrastructure that is being built.
Right.
And so the operational and maintenance costs comes out of the annual county budget. And so we should be acknowledging that and preparing for those costs in the budget.
So would it be okay if, working with the CFO, working with the building and maintenance director, can we provide some recommendations back to the board about some policy impacts that might be of benefit? Not that it may be implemented this year, but at least start providing the language to let the board kind of think through that to see if that's the direction we want to head in?
Yeah, we can do that.
That's fine,
That's
but
fine.
again, get qualified people to start doing these jobs. So,
That's
Yeah,
central services.
Yeah, I'm hearing both. There's not an or, it's an and, right? So you're saying, yeah, bring forth a recommendation and
And
make sure we have qualified
right,
contractors in
just come
space.
here with low bids and throw something up for us.
Yes, ma'am.
That's the
Okay.
RFP process.
Any more discussion at this time? All right, thank you. You have a great rest of your evening. Next, as we transition, we'll be going to our chief staff attorney. Also, I'm gonna take a personal point of privilege and say happy birthday to Miss Brenda over there. She's here with us. She turned 37 today. And I'm at All right, Mr. Chief Staff Attorney.
I thought it was 36. I guess I was a year
yeah,
off.
Yeah. 26, 27. Look, and she chose to be at the work session today,
Yes.
y'all. Isn't that awesome? You know?
Yes. Yes. We've been talking about policy, and this is another one that we're presenting. It has the COO, but actually it was me. I tried to strong arm him, but I did it myself. So the summary presentation is I'm going to give you an overview of the issue, provide a summary of two models. One is the City of Savannah and Butts County. And I'm going to, yes, so there should be some hard copies on your dais. I'm just going to summarize them so you can kind of get an overview of what they are. Ask you questions for your feedback, and the other bullet point that's not on there is I'll sit down after that. So currently, there's no policy on when and how to rename county assets. And there's two options to how we can set that policy. One, which would be a resolution, which will be reflected in the meeting minutes. And the second is an ordinance, which will be reflected in the county code. Both of them have merit, and one is not better than the other from a legal standpoint. It just depends on what the board wants to do from direction. I will say an ordinance is a little easier to find by the citizens as opposed to a resolution where you have to know the exact meeting where the board decided, unless you want to put it on a website or something like that. So start with the Savannah, City of Savannah model. They set, and just the one that's on your dais, I put in the same kind of framework that we have here. So while it says COO and Director of Transportation, that's not in their original. I put it in the format that if you were to adopt, that's what it would look like. And so for those whose names or positions I will identify, this is just for illustration purposes only. So there's a criteria for naming public assets based on history, people, and community identity. They put some restrictions on there, putting limits on commercial names. It's not for advertisement purposes. They don't want any duplicate naming. And they have a residential limit of 5 years. 5 years before something can be renamed. They set a process for renaming the assets. There's a petition process where you have to fill out an application. It's reviewed internally by staff. There's a public hearing. There's notice. And then it's set for a public hearing. They have some things that they consider: the numerical impact on residents and businesses, how is this going to affect the people who are surrounding, the historical significance of the existing name, and then impact of emergency service delivery, among several other items that they have. City of Savannah has 2 types of requests, one that are permanent name changes and then some that are honorary, where they're there temporarily. And I'll start with the first, which is the permanent name change. They have it where it would affect roads, streets, parks, playground, trails, recreational spaces, building structures, county facilities, and any other public property. So pretty much anything that's within the county, that's what this permanent naming ordinance could affect. All of those requests for any of those parts that I just mentioned requires a supporting petition, and they have various percentages based on the type of asset that's being renamed. And it has a few other things that they have to do: provide a discussion, explanation of the existing name, what they want to change it to, a few other things they have. And it also requires an endorsement from a member of the board. Those requests are, again, illustrative purposes, would be directed to the Chief Operating Officer, who would get input from the Director of Transportation and Development and the Fire Chief. Their direction would be evaluating what the request is. They would identify what costs there would be associated with that request for permanently naming. Fire Chief would also look at that to determine whether there is any impact, to like current fire operations, if there would be like duplicate names or things that would make it confusing for them to respond to the new permanent name. So they would evaluate that and then make those responses, give it back to the COO, who would then provide it to the board for you all to look at and make a decision on. The second is an honorary naming, and this would be something that's temporary. Again, the request would still be directed to the COO, who would get input from the Department of Transportation and Development and Fire Chief. These honorary renaming would only apply to like rights-of-way streets, and they would require certain petitions, a certain percentage of property owners. Again, it would still have that analysis, and it would also still require endorsement by a county commissioner. They limit it to one street, honorary street naming per year. I guess they don't want a flurry of streets named all. Right. And then the honorary signs, they're posted for 5 years. Some, they can either post it on the sign pole itself or as a standalone right next to the street sign. The Savannah model that the applicant may request a naming dedication ceremony at the time of the application. Some of the things that they use as a exception to the commercial portion is if there was a significant donation of land, goods, funding by some large corporation that might want to have something named by virtue of that donation. That's an option. And then they have their director of the Transportation and Development would notify the utility companies, other interested parties of the street name change. And again, the county would still retain the right to reject, discontinue, or abandon any renaming when in the best interest of the residents and visitors. Second is Butts County. They have a resolution. Their requirement was much, much more strict. Again, this is really more related to content as well as the mechanism. So there is only honorary unless it's specifically stated otherwise by the board. And they have various honorary eligibility criteria. They have to be a resident or property owner for 10 years. The historical association has to be with the area or the facility. They can have a public leadership role. And they say the honoree must be deceased for at least 6 months, so no living persons prior to the date of the application. And then if you're going to rename a county building or facility, it requires unanimous consent, and that they have costs that are associated with that. They have to be paid within 60 days, or even if you approve it, it becomes null and void automatically. Applicant is responsible for damage, stolen, or replacement signs, and they exclude specifically certain facilities from being renamed. That's first, any current facility. I'm not going to read all of that, but if it's already currently named, they say you can't rename it unless there's some reason that you have to rename it. The administration building, which they say has already been named for the citizens of the county, and the historic Clayton courthouse. Those would be exceptions for any renaming. The clerk would be the person who oversees, clerk of the Board of Commissioners, oversees the process with assistance from the Chief Operating Officer or designee. The Chief Operating Officer has authority to make alternative recommendations. If there are some things that come up that doesn't make sense from a legal or operational standpoint, they could make those recommendations to the board. And again, the board still maintains the authority to rename, revoke, if the continuation of that name brings discredit to the county's brand or reputation. So just a couple of visual comparisons. The similarities: there's a structured process for the naming of county assets, public input, administrative review. The criteria for honoring individuals, it reflects history, their continuation, or their approach or effect on the community. And then there's regulation of cost, signage, and the applicant responsibilities. The differences, obviously, is Savannah has broader criteria, but focuses strictly on honorary naming unless it's set forth specifically. Savannah covers new facilities. I'm not going to read all of that, but requires unanimous board approval. Savannah doesn't require unanimous, and they include more exclusions on eligible facilities. So I say all that because now I'm going to ask you some questions so I know how to proceed. First, do you want to adopt a renaming policy? And if I'm here with my pen so I can answer some of these, is there any interest in adopting a renaming policy? Generally, yes or no?
I would say yes.
Yes, I would say
Okay.
yes.
And then what form do you want this policy to be in? Do you want it in a resolution form or ordinance form? Generally. Now the ordinance, of course, where I would have it would be in our street sidewalks or other public places, which would be chapter 82. I would have it as a new article entitled Naming of Public Property, Facilities, and Streets.
That's the most visible for anyone who wanted to look up the muni code, or they just Googled what policies does the county have.
Yes, and they
Ordinance
would
would be most visible.
spell out everything about what they would need to
I like
do.
how it's spelled out for the ordinance part of it too. I was looking at the Savannah ordinance.
Okay.
And it spells each thing out.
Okay, and so what parts of the Savannah ordinance, and some of these you may not be able to answer today,
Yeah.
but if you could think about the parts of the Savannah ordinance that you like, what parts of the Butts County resolution that you like, and then just let me know, when do you want to adopt the policy? Do you want to, I don't know if you want to look at it for this coming Tuesday, or if you want to wait till August.
Definitely wait.
Wait till
Okay,
August.
so
It's
then
of not great importance right now.
there is a current renaming agenda on the there's a current renaming agenda item for this coming Tuesday. So not for you all to make a decision on that right now, but if you want to hold off on having something in place before you address that, or you consider it on this next coming Tuesday. But I just wanted to make you aware that this issue is going to come up.
Tuesday.
Yes.
What agenda item was it? I couldn't find the exact agenda item.
It was a request
Is it
by,
on regular? Is it on consent?
well, it may be under consent right now. Do you have a copy? Thank you. It was, there was a request to rename Bogey Court to Charles Schofield Court and honor the service to the community and county over the years since the subdivision was developed. It's number 16 on your draft agenda.
So who's bringing it?
I think it's a request from some citizens who have
You know,
made
My
that.
thought is, since this has been brought up as an ordinance or a resolution, to begin to push that off if we're gonna go ahead and get this done.
And again, I'm not asking you all to make a decision on that today. I just want to remind you that when it comes up, what we actually will put that on the regular agenda so you all can discuss,
Yeah.
decide on how you want to handle it on Tuesday. We won't put it on consent.
Let me ask this question as well. When you speak of the honorary namings, the honorary namings are temporary? Am I-
So,
So the
yes.
question, because from a commercial or residential address, are we using the permanent, or would they be using the honorary?
So it would be the permanent name that would not change.
Okay.
But on the sign, it would have underneath there the name of the honorary designee. So that way, it would have less of an impact on those
On the street.
residents
Citizens.
because they wouldn't have to go
Changing
and
that.
change everything with the
yeah,
PO box,
banking and all
with
that.
the mailing address and everything.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
So was that state law sometime back when the person had to be deceased?
Yeah.
And they changed it.
I don't
Does
believe,
anybody
I haven't
know
seen
that?
anything that
Used to
says it
be.
requires them to be deceased, but I think they were trying, these two local governments wanted to make it, to have it, someone is deceased, I guess, to avoid.
Well, it used to be like that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It used to be like that.
For me, that's something that I don't like with the statute.
Yeah.
I know you have something you like, but. I thought
Yes.
I'd throw that
So
out
yeah,
there.
the parts that you don't want to have in there, I'm interested in hearing that too. That doesn't have to be a requirement.
And I do like, is it Savannah that must be a resident of 10 years?
It was Butts, that was 10.
Bus was
Okay, I'm
10,
sorry.
Savannah was 5.
So yes, what I'll do is I'll reach out to you all between now and the early part of August and just talk to you individually about what you like. And then I'll put something together to give to the board to take a look at. And we'll put it on for the agenda for the 4th.
Great.
Thank you.
How did this come about?
So we had a number of requests over the past 2 or 3 months, not official, but just kind of just general discussions. And CO and I talked and said, we don't really have any guidelines about what does it look like for when you rename county policy. So we figured it would be best to bring it to you all to see if you have an interest in putting something together.
Yeah, but it's something here on pursuant to sections 2-156, disposition of personal property,
Yeah, I should know that.
the code of ordinance.
On agenda item 16.
It's on the, on that of requesting a renaming. The last paragraph?
Yes. Yes. But right now, there is no general policy that deals with that issue. I mean, I think that is dealing with your purchasing code and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But this would actually this would set some criteria for who can ask, what's the process. Like the 2-156 doesn't really deal with like public hearings, advertising, that kind of stuff. This would set forth a more formalized process.
Yeah, and it makes it a little hard for me because I think last year before last, when we named the building after our animal control person. So from what you're reading, some of these things may not fit. We may not have been able to do that.
This would only be for the public. The board can decide what you want. So if the board chose to rename a building something, this doesn't preclude the board from doing anything. This is if some citizens decided, we want to have, something named after so-and-so and so.
Okay.
Then they would have to go through the process and decide whether they wanted a permanent name or they wanted it as a.
This is about.
Correct. But this does not negate the board's authority to rename or whatever, any property within the county.
Okay. Okay. That's a little better.
All right.
All right, thank you. All right, next will be our finance update from the CFO Jackson.
Good evening, Board of Commissioners. The last item on the agenda is an information presentation regarding the county's pension program. Ms. Carrie Hathaway, our pension manager, will provide an overview of the program, the fund's financial position, as well as recent activity related to the program itself.
Thank you.
Good evening, Board. Thank you for your time tonight. As Mr. Jackson said, based on the agenda, we're going to wrap it up tonight with the topic that we know and love, which is pension. So my name is Carrie Hathaway. I'm the pension manager here, and I also would like to introduce the assistant pension manager. Her name is Nika Hamer. Give a little wave. All right, so tonight we're going to go over an overview of the plan. Some of the items mentioned, you may or may not know about them, but we can certainly dive in a little bit deeper if you don't. And then we'll also give a current status of the financial piece of it as well. Okay, so our goal tonight is just to present a high overview level of the defined benefit plan to the Board of Commissioners. It's to further increase the knowledge of the defined benefit plan and to further promote the value of the plan. We're also going to talk about the current status of the plan, the financial piece, and then as leaders, you will have more information for purposes of deeper discussions, future presentations, or possibly recommendations. So the Clayton County Pension Plan is a defined benefit plan for all eligible full-time employees of Clayton County and Clayton County Water Authority. The enrollment is automatic and mandatory based on your position. There is no action to join or enroll in the plan. It just happens on your first paycheck when you're employed. Our pension, like I said, is defined by a formula. It is not a 401k. We get a lot of inquiries in our office about the confusion about it being a 401k. That's always the term that employees use instead of defined benefit plan. So that is a common, misconception. Once an employee is eligible under the defined benefit plan to retire, the payment that they receive will be for the rest of their life. It's a monthly lifetime benefit payment. The defined benefit plan is, like I said, very different from 401k. It's often misunderstood. We're constantly giving more of an educational piece at times, for why it's not like a 401k. A lot of employees call and they want to know the balance of their plan, or they want a statement of their plan. A defined benefit plan does not do that. It's just you make contributions, the county makes contributions, and then at the end when you retire, it's based on a formula, and that is your monthly benefit. So the best way to describe a defined benefit plan is to actually turn those two words around and say that it is defined by a formula. It's a benefit defined by a formula. So the formula is your average monthly compensation times your years of service times a multiplier. All right, the employee contribution percentage is 7.5%. This is taken by way of payroll deduction. I'm sure we have all seen this on our paychecks where it says pension EE, well, it doesn't say the 7.5, but it says pension EE. The employer, the county, they contribute 21.5%. Thank you very much. The current vesting schedule is 10 years. And the only way that you can benefit from the county contribution is to actually retire. If you were to leave before you retire, or you cash your money out, the employee waives their benefit of that county contribution. So the only way they can see that or benefit from that is to actually retire. We have two vesting schedule tiers in place. We have a 7-year plan and a 10-year plan. They're running sort of side by side right now. If you were hired before 1/1/16, you're on the 7-year plan with a 2.5 multiplier. If you work 32 years of service, you would have 80% of your income that you would have in retirement. If you were hired on or after 1/1/16, the vesting period is 10 years and the multiplier is 2%. If you retire with 32 years, the amount that you would take home of your income is 64%. Now, under both of these plans, when you retire, you automatically pick up 15.15% in addition to the 80 and the 64, because you're no longer paying FICA, Medicare, or the 7.5% of the pension deduction. So these folks that retire with 80%, they're actually retiring with 95.15%. And the folks with a 64%, it's 79%, and then that's where the deferred comp comes in, where you can supplement the deferred comp. The current pension administration is handled and maintained within the finance department by the pension staff. We currently provide estimates, final calculation on retirements. We process lump sums every 2 weeks. We handle all customer service, either by email or phone or drop in. A lot of people drop in to see us. And then we handle all the financial reconciliation at the end of the quarter and the year. The pension board consists of 5 board members. There is a designee of the chairperson of Board of Commissioners. There's a designee of the chairperson from the Water Authority. There is a member of the board that is the director of the Clayton County Civil Service System, the CFO of Clayton County, and then there is a member at large that is selected by the other 4 pension board members. The two members that they're on there by way of their position is the Civil Service System, which in other words is the HR director and the CFO. Okay. The duties of the pension board, they develop an investment policy statement. This policy statement tells the money managers, the investment managers, how to invest and reinvest the money within the fund. They also make decisions to invest or reinvest on purposes of paying the retirement benefits that are paid out on a monthly basis. They elect the member at large. They establish rules for the administration of the pension plan, rules and procedures. And then possibly at the end of this calendar year, we may be losing one of our board members, just to give a heads up about that. All right, so moving into some of the numbers. This slide here shows the current pension assets from fiscal year 16 until current. You can see the trend there where it's growing and how it has grown over the years. The current asset balance right now is right at $700 million. And the assets are held with a custodian. They're held with U.S. Bank.
When the stock market crashes.
The current contribution, this slide here shows the current contributions to the benefit payments. So this shows the three fiscal years showing the employer contribution for each year, the employer contribution for each year, a subtotal of those, so that is revenue coming into the plan. And then you have the benefit payments that are paid out each month. Now, this is a yearly total on that line, but that is the amount that is paid out to the active retirees. And then the difference in that, you can see that that is a shortfall of contributions to the benefit payment. So the contributions that are going into the plan right now do not cover the benefit payments. Now, this slide is not meant to scare anybody. It's just meant to show the contribution revenue coming in does not cover that, but we have other revenue streams. We have dividend income, interest income, investment income. There's other revenue streams that flow into the plan that cover the shortfall. All right, the return on investments for the last 3 years, you can see it here, it has grown each year. So this return on investment, this is a measurement of the efficiency on how the investment's profit is back to its cost. So you can see that the investments are doing very well within the plan. This data here came from Georgia Department of Audits. They conduct a biannual reporting every 2 years. The most recent one they had was January of 25. So this data is a little bit old, but we won't have any new data until 27. But just to pick out not only our county, but also our surrounding neighbor counties, you can see the value of pension assets in millions of dollars, and then you can also see who their administrator is, whether they're doing it in-house or they're taking that to an outside party. All right, time for questions.
Board members, any questions or comments at this time?
I do. What are some of the investment vehicles that the pension uses, or what do they stay away from as well?
I'm sorry, say that again.
What are some of the investment vehicles that the pension is invested in, and what
Okay.
do they stay away from? I would doubt if they're into single stocks and things of that nature more.
Right.
What's
So our
bonds, things of that nature.
Yeah, our investment mix, let me get that for you. We have domestic equity, international equity, domestic fixed income, real estate, and cash.
Some equities. Is there or has there been any thought to letting employees say, hey, X amount of your pension funds that you're putting in can be invested in certain ways?
To my knowledge, no. The way the plan document is written right now, the investment policy is voted on by the pension board, and then the investment managers need, or they have to follow that policy so far as what the right mixture would be.
Thank you.
Was it 2007, 2008? Did it affect the plan?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely, in a negative way, of
Right,
course.
that's what I mean.
And not just this plan, I mean, any plan
Right.
in the state of Georgia, it definitely hurt it. Yeah.
Have we bounced back from that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Mhm.
Commissioner Reeves?
I had a forecasting question. Thank you for pointing out that big gap in, is there no way we can go back 2 slides?
You talking about the shortfall?
Yeah, from 2023 to 2024. And so and I wish our HR folks were here. I know we have a lot of folks in the county who, let me not say a lot. We have folks in the county who are coming up on, their 15 years or their 18 years. They're approaching retirement
There's more than you
eligibility.
know.
However mixture that is, whether it's time or age. And so I'm just curious about the forecasting and how, maybe that's a pension board question around like the financial solvency for future retirees, just as we prepare for that increase in the number of folks who will be retiring from the county.
Well, it's hard to get around that because even if, you have the right age and the right years to retire, you may not wish to retire. And if you're not ready to retire, you're not going to disclose that you're retiring. So even if, because it's not, the county can't make you retire. I mean, there's folks here that are well into their 70s and they're still working.
Yes. Institutional knowledge is great. We love institutional knowledge.
Right.
Yes.
So it's really hard to forecast or project, what folks are going to do. A lot of it's based on, what happens in their personal life or, I don't know that there's really a way to quantify that. It's the same way when an employee leaves the county and they're paid their annually payoff, there's no way to budget for that.
Is there a formula somewhere on the internet that gives like an idea or projection? I'm just curious. That might be something for the pension board to look into.
Perhaps.
Yeah, but you're right. You're right. That's a very hard thing to quantify.
I apologize because I have not even had this conversation with the CFO, but I'm a little geeky when it comes to stuff like this. When you talk about the market, especially in local government, in the next 5 years, they're projecting anywhere between 15 to 20% of local government employees to retire. The front end of that has been a challenge because, again, we don't know. We I call them the young Thundercats to come in and work in our space. But a lot of people that's entering to the local government workforce are not staying around long enough to pay into defined benefits, but they're contributing. So conversely, it's about the same amount of people that's coming into the workforce that's not going to stay here for a 10-year vested period, but still are contributing to the pension plan. And that percentage is around 10 to 15% as well. So right now it's about it's a balance, it's a wash. But to Carrie's point, what we don't know is how much of that will translate into individuals really leaving in the next 3 to 4 to 5 years. And one of the reasons why we're trying to figure out, are there other ways by which we can be even more innovative in trying to figure out ways, other revenue sources to continue to support our defined benefits program.
And I know you already know my next concern, succession planning, succession planning.
Yes. So conversely, the numbers about individuals that are eligible to retire here in the next 5 years, especially when it comes to our leadership, 20%.
Oh, okay. reiterate what I said about succession planning, but okay.
Again, we're having those conversations to continue to provide opportunities for our middle management and others that are not even with Clayton County right now from a recruitment strategy to ensure that we can fill that gap once those top leaders that have provided a lot of institutional knowledge won't be with us. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments or questions at this time? Well, thank you so much, and we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thorough, I have one question. So,
Yes, ma'am.
when I saw that it was when you could not retire, but what's the thing about 10 years, and then you got to change from 7 to 10 years. The
vesting.
The best. Why was it changed from 7 to 10? Because I've heard some municipalities are changing it to lower years and have changed it to lower years. So why did we change it to more years?
I was not in pension at the time that occurred, but
you know why, Dietrich.
but I can only assume that it was done to reduce benefits to save cost. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good night. All right. Are there any other questions, any announcements and comments at this time? All right. Well, thank you all for coming out. This meeting is adjourned as of 8:19 or 50. Is it 8:15 p.m.? Y'all have a good rest of your night. Whew. And enjoy your evening.